Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Zombie Nationwide. You are asked to eat people, and you create a forbidden spell. Chapter 71. Create Bloodline Traits for Combat. Shen Qing looked troubled and said, "Old Mu, I can help you create nature. But, you should also know that helping Sister Hong create abnormal calmness last time caused me to be in a coma for 2 days. Of course I felt the danger in Area 77, so I secretly created 12 primary fissioners. Now, time does not allow me to stay in a coma for 2 days." Hear the words. Mu Lengtu nodded slightly and realized that he was acting impulsively. But, the main reason why he made such a request was that he did not want to be in a situation where he would not have enough combat power when Area 77 threatened them. Mu Bangtu. Okay, then you will have to work hard next. It didn't take long. Mu Bangtu left first. Shen Qing was standing in the center of the 10-way intersection, looking around, and the plan just now kept popping up in his mind. If the plan is successfully implemented, the danger in Area 77 can indeed be avoided. Closing square bracket. Except, is it really feasible? Closing square bracket. Late at night. In the office of the zombie army commander in Area 77. In the past, at this time, Huang Mo would have turned off the lights and gone to bed. But today, Huang Mo's hearty laughter could be heard in the office. Ha ha, everyone, the last time we saw each other was at the leadership meeting a year ago, right? When I see you today, you are all in high spirits. In the commander's office, the 3 zombies sat quietly on the sofa. Judging from each other's expressions, it seemed that they didn't take Huang Mo seriously at all. After all, the commander of a second-rate dungeon is not at the same level as the commanders of first-rate dungeons like them. But in terms of the number of zombie armies we have, the number of zombies that any of them can control is far more than that of Huang Mo in Area 77. As for who are these 3 zombies? Naturally, he is the commander of the zombie army in Areas 3, 5, and 16. These 3 major areas are even called super first-class underground cities. The status is only in District 1 controlled by Long Qianyang. The commander of District 3 said unceremoniously, "Huang Mo, stop talking nonsense and get straight to the point." The leaders of the other 2 regions did not speak, but their meanings were obvious. Huang Mo smiled awkwardly and quickly narrated, "That's it. Now, Hong Yu and other zombies are in a canyon in the undeveloped area in the west of Area 77. I will personally take you to the specific location during the operation. However, before doing it again, I still need to confirm the quality of the zombie army you brought. After all, everyone should know very well that Hong Yu's abnormal rage will be very difficult if he goes crazy." The commander of District 5 snorted, "Tricky. Quality. Red Moon may be tricky for you in District 77, but for us, it's just a turtle in a urn, and it's a sure thing." The commander of District 16 raised his eyebrows and said, "Stop talking nonsense and just tell us when we will take action. The zombie army we just brought here are all elites from all regions. You don't need to worry about their combat power. Huang Mo, remember your responsibilities. You only need to lead the way. What happens next has nothing to do with you. Just prepare to take over the high-level corpse crystal mine." Huang Mo's face looked somewhat unattractive. After all, the attitude of these 3 guys towards him would make even the most tolerant zombie already unable to stop himself from getting angry. But Huang Mo still didn't show any anger, instead he smiled along with him. Only because he knew very well in his heart how strong the leaders of these 3 regions were. Li Tian, the leader of District 3, is a top-notch bloodline zombie. His bloodline awakening value reaches a terrifying 78%. He also has extreme enhancement of both arms. This bloodline characteristic has a very significant effect. This zombie was even called Iron-Armed Li Tian by other districts. This shows how much combat power Li Tian's arms possess. Zhao Chuan, the leader of District 5, is a top bloodline zombie with a bloodline awakening value of 79%. He has the same bloodline characteristics as Long Qianyang, the top of the clouds, and his whole body is strengthened. This zombie is called the zombie that is most likely to approach the height of Long Qianyang in recent years. The combat power is terrifying, and it is now easy to defeat a high-level enforcer camp alone. The leader of District 16, Mo Wudi, is an apex-level bloodline zombie with a bloodline awakening value of 74%. possess a bloodline trait called Devour. The effect of this bloodline characteristic is unknown. It seems that Mo Wudi deliberately hid it. Among the 197 dungeons in the world, Long Qianyang is probably the only one who knows the effect of swallowing. Known by other districts as the most mysterious leader among the 197 zombie armies. Any one of these three guys can kill him instantly. How dare Huang Mo make a mistake? Although Huang Mo's strength is not weak, he is also an apex-level bloodline zombie, but his bloodline characteristics are not that interesting. The bloodline awakening value is only 65%. For the leader of a second-rate zombie army, his strength is not weak. But compared with these first-class zombie army commanders, they are like a mayfly shaking a tree. Huang Mo was silent for a moment and winked at the door. Soon, Lao Qi walked in and bowed to the commanders of the three regions. After the ceremony, he said respectfully, "Hello, commanders. I am the zombie responsible for the cooperation between Hongyu and other zombies in Area 77. Just call me Lao Qi. Next, I will give you commanders a detailed explanation of the combat power of Hongyu and other zombies." About half an hour after Lao Qi finished speaking, he retreated to Huang Mo. The zombie army commanders of the three major regions had already frowned slightly. The commander of District 5 said, "According to your words, the biggest threat among this group of zombies is Hongyu and Shen Qing. And Shen Qing is just a junior bloodline zombie on the surface, but he is actually a guy with apex-level bloodline zombies. Not only that, but both he and the alien zombie beast king can use full-body enhancement." The three zombie army commanders looked at each other, with a hint of disbelief in their eyes. Especially Zhao Chuan in District 5. He, who also possesses body strengthening, knows very well how powerful this bloodline characteristic is. Not to mention, a beast king with an all-enhanced alien zombie. This simply refreshes your outlook on life, okay? Mo Wudi from District 16 snorted and said, "It doesn't matter, our mission is to catch these people, whether they are alive or dead. As long as Shen Qing's life is saved in the end." Li Tian from District 3 nodded and said, "Yes. This matter is not difficult to handle." According to what Lao Qi just said, the owner of the alien zombie beast king is probably Shen Qing. Kill the other zombies directly, leaving Shen Qing behind and controlling him. The alien zombie beast king is also destined to obey our orders. It's just that. Li Tian stopped talking and looked at the other two commanders. "Commander Long has ordered that we cannot interrogate Shen Qing in private. If you want to get the method of raising the alien zombie beast king, you might have to interrogate him." Mo Wudi from District 16 said, "So what if we interrogate it, as long as we can bring the zombies over? Besides, after the interrogation, no zombies knew about it." After finishing speaking, Mo Wudi's cold eyes fell on Huang Mo and Lao Qi, with a hint of threat evident. Huang Mo and Lao Qi quickly shook their heads and waved their hands, saying in unison, "Don't worry, we don't know anything." Mo Wudi regained his momentum. "I hope so. If this matter is exposed, we don't mind changing the leader of District 77. Soon, this matter has been agreed upon." In their mouths. The lives of Hongyu and other zombies are like livestock. Slaughter at will. However, their group of zombies didn't know what was waiting for them in tomorrow's action. They are destined to pay a heavy price for this. The next day, evening, after spending a whole day, Shen Qing finally set up the planned items. He was dressed roughly, lying on the loess of the cliff. Although the creation is not a primary fissioner, there are too many of these things, and the body's feeling of powerlessness is probably a side effect of excessive use of creation. Closing square bracket. I don't know if it will affect the next plan. Closing square bracket. I hope the zombies in Area 77 won't come tonight. Closing square bracket. While secretly thinking in my heart. Creation, zombie Shen Qing, full body recovery. With yesterday's reminder of the codename Mio, Shen Qing's use of the bloodline's inherent talent and creation is more flexible. The main reason why we are able to complete all the huge tasks today lies in the use of creativity. About 10 or 20 seconds later, the powerlessness in Shen Qing disappeared. But when I stood up, my head still felt dizzy. This was a sequela of creation that could not be recovered directly. Just got up, but there was a grinning zombie squatting beside him at some point. Codename Mio. "Hey, you can do it. I just taught you yesterday, and today you can use creation so flexibly. I have to say, your talent is really good. As he said that, codename Mio glanced around, and everywhere he looked was the position Shen Qing had just set. Codename Mio nodded appreciatively and continued, not bad. Knowing that your body is not strong enough allows you to create multiple primary fissioners again in a short period of time. So, choose a method that is more labor-saving, but the effect is not bad at all. Shen Qing, you are very good. Shen Qing smiled bitterly and shook his head. If I had your strength, I wouldn't waste so much energy setting up these things. I'm afraid these things are just toys in your eyes, right? Codename Mio shrugged undeniably. Shen Qing continued to sigh and curled her lips. Oh, there is nothing we can do. A certain zombie promised to protect me, but unfortunately I found that he didn't keep his word. No, we have to fend for ourselves. Codename Mio had a black line on his head and glanced at Shen Qing angrily. Are you targeting me? Shen Qing. I didn't say it, you figured it out yourself. Codename Mio slapped Shen Qing on the back of the head and said with an angry smile, you kid, I remember you are not good at words, aren't you? What's wrong now? The chatter box has opened up, and now everyone knows how to make fun of me. Shen Qing was stunned. Turning his head stiffly, he just called Mio and asked, Lao. Lousy. Codename Mio seemed to realize that he was wrong, but pretended to be calm and knocked on Shen Qing's forehead. What? Have you ever seen a zombie like to call himself me? Shen Qing also laughed awkwardly after being knocked on the forehead. Yes, he is too sensitive. There is a sea of zombies calling themselves Lao Su. In the dungeon of Area 65, some of the grassroots zombies like to keep their mouths shut. Glancing at the codename Mio, Shen Qing asked him, by the way, what do you think about the things in Area 77? Codename Mio, can we see it? Let's kill the donkey. That's 1 billion. If it weren't for my special status, I would kill you all now and keep it to myself. Shen Qing, you are not serious about acupuncture. You are as virtuous as Lao Bai. Codename Mio, Gungan, I'm tall and handsome. Are you comparing me to that fat pig? Are you disgusting me? This moment, codename Mio and Shen Qing really look like a funny father and son. Unfortunately, Shen Qing didn't know it, and the tenderness in Mio's eyes was naturally not captured by him. There was a moment of silence. Codename Mio suddenly said, let me remind you, these things may not be effective. At the right time, you can put yourself in danger. Shen Qing was confused. What do you mean? Codename Mio, it's not interesting. I just want to tell you that the sequelae of creation may make you comatose, but at certain times, the price of coma can win a higher chance of survival. As for these certain moments such as desperate situations. Shen Qing straightened up and stared at codename Mio very seriously. Do you know something? Codename Mio, I don't know. Shen Qing, has there been any change in District 77's operations this time? Codename Mio, I don't know. Shen Qing, will we die? This time, codename Mio finally stopped answering, I don't know. Instead, he fell into silence. Shen Qing was also a little anxious, but codename Mio seemed to have no intention of answering. Instead, he changed the topic directly. By the way, we can digest your high-level quartz crystal veins, but the price is lower than the world price. Each piece is worth 70. You can go back and ask your companions if you can. After saying this, codename Mio stood up and chuckled. Okay, I'll withdraw. Before Shen Xiao could stop him, the place where the codename Mio was originally located was empty. There were still no 2 footprints on the ground. But Shen Qing's mood became so heavy for the first time. What did he mean by what he just said? Closing square bracket. There is no doubt that District 77 plans to attack us. Closing square bracket. But, desperate situation. Could it be that Area 77 is not the only one attacking us? Closing square bracket. Shocked, Shen Qing activated the ultimate body enhancement and rushed directly towards the high-level quartz crystal vein. It didn't take long. Inside the high-level quartz crystal mine cave. Now, Bai Wuhua and the others have already dug out a room in the cave. Although the interior is crude, it is at least a shabby and cozy home. Shen Qing rushed in through the door. The anxiety and eagerness on his face immediately attracted the attention of Lao Mu and other zombies. Hong Yu stood up and stepped forward and asked, what's wrong? Shen Qing frowned and looked at Lao Mu. Mu Lengtu nodded, indicating that the time was short and he could confess. After confirming this, Shen Qing said directly, District 77 is preparing to attack us. This matter is confirmed. But now, I suspect that the zombie army attacking us is not only in District 77, but there may also be zombie armies from other regions. Bai Wuhua stood up in shock. What the hell? District 77 is planning to attack us. Are you bringing people from other districts with you? Xiao Qingzi, you didn't drink too much, did you? Gao Xiaoxiao also looked seriously. Hong Yu pressed her hand. He had already heard Shen Qing and Lao Mu talk about this matter, so he had already made plans in his heart. She ignored Bai Wuhua's doubts and asked Shen Qing directly, Shen Qing, is the news reliable? Shen Qing, not sure, but I analyzed it from the mouth of the male zombie. Hear the words. Hong Yu's beautiful eyebrows frowned, and she smacked her lips lightly, with a look of embarrassment on her face. This is going to be difficult. If it were him, the accuracy of this matter should be very high. Shen Qing, have you finished arranging those things? Shen Qing nodded. It's arranged. Hong Yu. Okay, let's get ready. If only other second-rate zombie armies unite with District 77, we still have a chance of defeating them. But if it is a first-class zombie army, I'm afraid it's more likely to be bad than good. Gao Xiaoxiao. Bai Wuhua. What's the situation? Sister Hong, why can't I understand a word you say? What did you ask Xiao Qingzi to arrange? Why do I suddenly feel that I am derailed from the world? Hong Yu didn't give much explanation, just said one sentence. Old Bai, be prepared to face the enemy. We'll talk about other things later. This time, District 77 is trying to trick us into killing us. After a brief explanation, Gao Xiaoxiao and Bai Wuhua knew the inside story. Bai Wuhua was so angry that he gnashed his teeth. These dogs, 1 billion divided into more than 400 million is not enough. You actually want to swallow it all. Are you really not afraid of being strangled to death? Hong Yu sighed. There is no way, the output of this high-level quartz crystal vein is too high. Driven by enough profit, not only Area 77, but also 197 underground cities around the world can do things that zombies can't believe. The words fell. Hong Yu looked at Shen Qing again. Shen Qing, the rest of the matter will be left to you. If something goes wrong, find a way to escape immediately. Shen Qing. Yeah, the night gradually deepens. There are some dark clouds in the sky tonight. Sometimes it covers the bright moon. Sometimes it reveals a hint of silver-white pretty face. The cold wind around him was even more violent than the previous few days, seeming to remind Shen Qing. Today is destined to be a sleepless night. Outside the canyon, Lao Qi came here with 4 zombie army commanders and nearly 100 zombie armies. Pointing into the dark canyon, he said, this is it. Li Tian from District 3 smacked his lips. Tisk, tisk, this place is really invisible. Mo Wudi from Area 16 snorted lightly, with a hint of displeasure in his eyes. There is no need to wait for so many zombies. The elites the 3 of us brought are enough. The opponent only has 5 zombies, so it's like killing a chicken with a sledgehammer. Zhao Chuan from District 5 chuckled. Commander Mo, you have to be sure of everything to prevent accidents from happening. It's better to make more preparations. Mo Wudi. Humph. Lao Qi and Huang Mo looked at each other awkwardly. Commanders, please come with me. Lao Qi walked at the front, leading the group of zombies into the canyon step by step. Phew, the wind is really strong tonight. Especially when entering the canyon, the icy cold wind even made the zombies feel their body surfaces getting colder. The moonlight is obscured. The canyon is so deep that you can't even see your fingers. If Lao Qi hadn't prepared lighting tools for the zombies in advance, it would have been difficult to just move forward. It didn't take long. At the fork in the road, Lao Qi stopped and pointed to a fork in the road. From this direction, keep walking forward for a few minutes and you'll be there. At this time, most of them have already rested. Hear the words. District 3 Commander Li Tian was too lazy to bother, so he passed Lao Qi and walked directly in the direction of the high-level quartz crystal mine. Behind him, the elite zombie army he brought from Area 3 were even more skilled in keeping up. Li Tian, grinning. However, just when Li Tian led nearly 10 elite zombies to the center of the 10-way intersection. Sudden, on the surrounding rock walls, dense bloody red spots appeared. Li Tian was not given the slightest chance to react. The red dot turned into red light, piercing the entire night and shooting accurately towards the location of Li Tian and other zombies. It's so fast, it's like the core weapon of the Executor. And these red dots, preliminary calculations, turned out to be close to several hundred. Boom, shining light on heavenly fire, it instantly swallowed up 11 zombies, including Li Tian. By the time Huang Mo and the zombies reacted, they had already seen a zombie with its body burning with flames retreating back to them from the light of heavenly fire. Li Tian's whole body was burnt black, and several bloody holes were shot through his chest. Blue-black blood was still pouring out. Li Tian, no, the 10 elites I brought are all dead. That red light just now is the core weapon of artificial intelligence. Based on preliminary judgment of its power, it is at least the core weapon of high-level executors. Zhao Chuan was shocked. How is that possible? Those red lights just now, according to preliminary judgment, there are at least a few hundred. Don't tell me, there are hundreds of high-level executors ambushing around. Even if we are a strong group, we will still die if we face hundreds of high-level executors. Li Tian said unhappily. You ask me. What the hell do I know? Looks like someone ambushed you. However, just as Li Tian finished speaking, among the zombie army, a zombie suddenly shouted into the sky. Oh my god, look, is that a fissioner? The zombies pointed in the direction and looked. On the cliff, a black shadow nearly 5 meters in size appeared. The moonlight also shone little by little at this moment. The silver-white moonlight shines on the cold machinery, reflecting the icy air. A junior fissioner's scarlet eyes were staring at the zombie army below. Hiss, Zhao Chuan took a breath of air and said in disbelief, it's really a primary fissioner. Wait, Mo Wudi said in surprise. Look at the shoulders of the primary fissioner, is there a zombie figure? The zombies squinted and looked again. The next second, regardless of whether it was the zombie army or the leader of the zombie army, they all inhaled suddenly. Just because they saw clearly the shoulders of the primary fissioners. There is actually a zombie there. Mo invincible. New humans. I'm afraid there is no one else but new humans who can control fissioners. Zhao Chuan. It shouldn't be. Why do the new humans appear here? Could it be that Hongyu and the others have really had an affair with the new humans? Li Tian. Whatever, go up and kill him. What happened to the new human? If it hadn't been for the sudden attack on me, I would have torn his head off long ago. He was injured in front of so many zombie armies, and all 10 of the elite zombie armies he brought were killed. This made Li Tian furious and unbearable. Fortunately, Zhao Chuan was relatively calm and stopped Li Tian's impulse. Zhao Chuan. Commander Li, calm down. If we go rashly, hundreds of high-level executors who are eyeing us will probably be able to annihilate us. Stop for a while and ask Area 77 to send all the zombie army. Said. Zhao Chuan looked at Huang Mo. Commander Huang, I hope you can do it as soon as possible. Furthermore, you must compensate for Commander Li's losses this time. After all, it was you who brought us here, and it was also your information that was wrong. Huang Mo looked like he had eaten a piece of cake. Are these zombies all faceless? Closing square bracket. However, angry in his heart, Huang Mo could only nod respectfully, and at the same time Lao Qi waved his hand and said, Lao Qi, go back and call all the zombies who are still in the army. I'm afraid, this time we have to fight a tough battle. High-level executor. Under normal circumstances, high-level bloodline zombies with more than 55% awakening value can handle them as long as their bloodline characteristics are not too weak. The leaders of the 3 major regions can be destroyed later. But there are too many. 2 fists are no match for 4 hands. The core weapon is the most destructive weapon of the executor. Even the leaders of the 3 major regions dare not resist the core weapon of the high-level executor. Not to mention, or hundreds at a time. If he rushed forward rashly, he would probably be beaten into a hornet's nest. As for Shen Qing at this time, he was standing on the shoulders of the primary fissioner. He looked down, but his expression looked very nervous. Only because he doesn't have hundreds of high-level executors. Those scarlet rays of light are those hundreds of bodiless core weapons. High-level executors will also have great side effects if they create too much. So, in this case, Shen Qing only created the core weapons of high-level executors. Although these core weapons are fixed in position and cannot be moved. But when the number is large enough, the threat they can exert is definitely no less than 12 primary fissioners. That's Shen Qing's cellular plan. Within the canyon. This side of the Red Moon. Bai Wuhuo was dumbfounded as he recalled the scene just now, his mind like a bolt from the blue. Dear me, hundreds of core weapons are fired at the same time. I'm afraid even if the Heavenly King comes, it will turn into a hornet's nest. Hongyu also nodded in astonishment. Well, with the threat of these core weapons, they should not dare to come rashly in the short term. It's just, Hongyu frowned, looking at the zombie army in the distance in the darkness. Area 77 is such a big deal. We actually called the commanders of District 3, District 5, and District 16. I'm afraid, they will definitely kill us during this trip. Mu Bengtu said in a deep voice. Sister Hong, when will we take action? The tall and small twin ponytails have already transformed into two sharp weasels, with a pair of eyes staring at them eagerly, always ready to attack. Hongyu waved her hand. Wait a moment, I think Lao Qi will bring all the zombies still in Area 77 soon. This time, the number is terrifyingly huge. We will wait until Shen Qing is unable to resist and then take action to minimize the danger to the 5 zombies. Hongyu's plan is simple. Hundreds of core weapons are not high-level executors. But for the 10-way intersection, one man can block it and 10,000 men can't open it. Even if all the zombie armies in Area 77 are here, anyone who wants to come to their side has to pass through the center of the 10-way intersection. By then, hundreds of core weapons attacking at the same time can definitely greatly weaken the number and strength of the zombie army. When Shen Qing's core weapon was breached, they launched an attack with twice the result with half the effort. Shen Qing also agreed with this plan. After all, if Hongyu and other zombies go there at this time, the aftermath of the explosion of the core weapon will also threaten their safety. Only, Hongyu and Shen Qing had calculated everything, but they never expected that the actual combat power of the zombie army in District 77 could be so terrifying. The night is dark and windy. Anomaly's quiet atmosphere echoes within Shicha Junction. After about an hour or so, only 300 zombies came in force. Lao Qi, the leader, stopped and reported to Huang Mohui, Old Huang, we have brought all the zombies still in Area 77. No more, no less, 300 in total, and they are all high-level bloodline zombies. Among them, 70 have bloodline awakening values above 50%. There are 100 people with a bloodline awakening value of 50% to 40%. There are 130 people whose bloodline awakening value is below 40%. Even the commanders of the 3 major regions couldn't help but take a second look when they saw such a battle. Mo Wudi, it seems that Area 77 has quite a lot of high-end combat capabilities. 70 high-level bloodline zombies with an awakening value of over 50%. This number is probably comparable to a first-class zombie army. Zhao Chuan nodded and looked at Huang Mo with meaningful eyes. I'm afraid Huang Mo has already made preparations for attacking the first-class zombie army. Li Tian cursed and said impatiently, stop talking nonsense, okay. I'll kill them now. I have suffered such a big loss. Even if the Heavenly King comes today, I can't stop my determination to kill them. Li Tian was really furious. Now, although his body has recovered to some extent, the burnt black color on his body has not faded away. The whole appearance looks like roast suckling pig. Very funny. Huang Mo stepped forward. At this time, he seemed a little high-spirited, and he was no longer humble before. Commanders, are you ready? Mo Wudi, carry out separate operations according to combat teams, and spread the attacks of core weapons as much as possible. This can also reduce our losses. At the same time, all high-level bloodline zombies with an awakening value above 50% should not rush in, but try to kill the high-level executors as much as possible. Although Mo Wudi has an arrogant personality, his bloodline characteristics are very mysterious. But his brain is the best among the 3 district commanders. Almost quickly, all the zombie army's tasks were arranged. Huang Mo felt that the plan was feasible and did not refute it. Instead, he waved his hand towards the zombie army behind him. Follow Commander Mo's arrangements. Everyone, the battle begins. All of a sudden, including the zombie army brought before, there were nearly 300 to 400 zombies, swarming towards the 10-way intersection like a tide. But before they reached the central area, they dispersed into nearly a dozen teams, rushing towards the surroundings from angle to angle. Some zombies have more obvious goals. They have already determined their goals when they see the scarlet light lighting up. The blood characteristic was turned on, and he rushed towards the source of the scarlet light spot. Mo Wudi didn't take any action, but his eyes were staring coldly at the cliff. Moment. Mo Wudi. I'll go meet him. The words fell. The speed of Mo Wudi's feet increased sharply, and he rushed towards the cliff with a few accelerations. Li Tian was very excited, shouted, "Kill," and rushed towards the 10-way intersection. As for Huang Mo, Zhao Chuan and Lao Qi, the three zombies were standing there, showing no intention of joining the battle. A real battle. The leader will not participate in the war, this is the norm. It didn't take long. Hundreds of scarlet light points all lit up, and emitted extremely powerful light in all directions at the same time. Wherever the scarlet light passed, there were violent explosion flames. The zombie army that couldn't dodge was devoured by flames, and its lives were harvested at the same time. Boom boom boom. For a while, it was a tragic scene at the Shicha intersection. But those high-level zombies whose bloodline awakening value reaches more than 50%. They took this opportunity to approach the source of the scarlet light spot at an extremely fast speed. Be prepared to solve the high-level executors as quickly as possible. However, when they came to the source of scarlet light and electricity, the pupils of every zombie army dilated. Just because, in their eyes, the scarlet source that was supposed to be a high-level executor only had a small core device. That is to say, where are the hundreds of high-level executors? There are only a few hundred core weapons here. Not good. Boom. A zombie was about to shout, but when he opened his mouth, his head was completely penetrated by several scarlet rays of light. The whole zombies can't die anymore. But what he couldn't shout out, other zombies were able to shout out. I saw a zombie shouting in the direction of Lao Qi, "Commander. These light spots are not high-level executors. All the light spots are just the core weapons of high-level executors." As soon as these words came out, Huang Mo's expression suddenly froze as he stood outside the 10-way intersection. What? How can this be? There is no body of a high-level executor. Only the core weapon of a high-level executor. Isn't this a joke? You can't blame Huang Mo for his huge reaction. The main thing is that since he became the commander of District 77, he has experienced not only 100 but also 80 executioner battles. But in so many battles, he has never seen a situation where there is no body but only core weapons. Can a core weapon without a body really be activated? How exactly does it fight and lock onto the enemy? Zhao Chuan on the side frowned deeply. He discovered more and more that the enemies he faced this time were probably not just 5 wanted zombies. Zhao Chuan secretly said, "It seems that this situation is probably related to the zombie Shen Qing." Closing square bracket. Otherwise, that person would never be able to value him so much. Closing square bracket. At the same time, on the cliff, Mo Wudi looked at the young zombie on the shoulder of the primary fissioner, with a ghostly evil smile on his lips. Shen Qing. Shen Qing was stunned and did not answer. But his non-answer was the best answer in Mo Wudi's eyes. Mo Wudi smiled, with a hint of cunning in his voice, "It is indeed you. I didn't understand before that why that adult asked us to treat you specially, but now I understand. It turns out that you have the means to control the fissioners." As he said that, Mo Wudi's eyes turned cold. "Have you joined the new human race?" Shen Qing still didn't answer. But Mo Wudi seemed to be able to see through Shen Qing's inner thoughts and said in surprise, "It shouldn't be. Since you didn't join, how did you get the means to control the fissioners? Do you have other secrets?" Sudden, Mo Wudi thought of something and said, "Oh, by the way, that alien zombie beast king was probably raised by you too, right? Let's do this, you come with me, I can keep you alive." Shen Qing. Mo Wudi was surprised. "Don't you have enough chips? I can't beat you even if I want to keep you alive." "That's it. As long as you come with me, I'll help you save your companions, how about that?" Shen Qing. "You talk a lot of nonsense." Roar. Before Mo Wudi could react, a huge black shadow covered the sky and directly covered Mo Wudi in it. At the same time, the dog's tail made a sound that broke through the air, sweeping across Mo Wudi's waist. Boom. For a moment, Mo Wudi's body was shot away like a cannonball. But a scene from Anomaly also happened at the same time. Shen Qing noticed clearly. When Mo Wuti was knocked away, the colorful energy light on the Mastiff's body, which symbolized the ultimate body strengthening, was missing one color. At the same time, that color actually appeared out of thin air on Mo Wuti, who flew backwards. After a few breaths, Mo Wuti stood up. Although he looked very embarrassed, he still had a smile on his lips. Pretending to be surprised, he rushed to Shen and asked, "Is it really the whole body strengthening?" The Beast King, a mutant zombie that can use bloodline characteristics, is unique enough to change the entire world. With a hint of greed in his eyes, Mo Wuti suddenly flashed and appeared behind Shen Qing almost instantly. Sounds full of murderous intent were heard at the same time. "Hey, Shen Qing, if that's the case, then I have no reason not to kill you. I, Mo Wuti, will decide on this alien zombie Beast King." Mutation characteristics Devour. A faint layer of black energy suddenly appeared on Mo Wuti's attacking palm. As soon as the black energy came into contact with Shen Qing, a terrifying sense of crisis came out of Shen Qing's body. The extreme rage was activated quickly, and his body quickly moved away from Mo Wuti's attack range. It was only when Shen Qing stopped that he made a shocking discovery. All the extreme body enhancements that he had activated at the beginning were actually dissipated. I tried to open it again, but Anomaly could not be opened. What happened? Closing square bracket. Noticing Shen Qing's shocked look, Mo Wuti laughed. Doubtful, scared, this is the characteristic of my bloodline. My bloodline characteristics can swallow up all your abilities and turn them into my own use. Mo Wuti was bragging, because his bloodline characteristics are not that abnormal. Mutated characteristics. Swallowing. The main effect is to absorb the blood characteristics released by the opponent in a short period of time during combat and make it available to you. The effect of its own use can only reach a maximum of 60%. But this is not the power of Devour. The most powerful thing about Devour is that he can absorb the blood characteristics of multiple enemies while fighting. In other words, the more enemies there are and the more powerful the enemy is, the more powerful he will be. And Devour can also restrain enemies. While using the enemy's bloodline characteristics, the enemy cannot release the swallowed bloodline characteristics for a short period of time. There is definitely a reason why it can be called a mutation. Shen Qing frowned and was secretly shocked. Is there such a bloodline characteristic in this world? Closing square bracket. Isn't this a complete joke? Closing square bracket. No, you must not be touched by his hands. Closing square bracket. Mastiff. Shen Qing shouted to the Mastiff not far away, "Don't let him touch you." Mastiff. Ah, he seemed to understand, but Shen Qing was still worried, because the Mastiff's size was completely a disadvantage. It is very easy to be touched by Mo Wuti's blood-devouring characteristics. Mo Wuti spread his hands nonchalantly and played with the body-strengthening parts on his arms. He couldn't help but smacked his lips and said, "Wow. Wow. Although I hate to admit it, I have to say that you have apex-level bloodline and full body enhancement. Give you enough time, I'm afraid you can reach the height of that adult. It's a pity that you chose the wrong path." Mo Wuti's figure suddenly disappeared from the shoulders of the primary fissioner. Shen Qing's nerves suddenly became tense. He didn't know from which angle those hands that could swallow his own bloodline characteristics would strike. This is the second time Shen Qing's life has been in danger. The first time was the old zombie who had just taken away his 12 primary fissioners. The second time was the Mo Wuti in front of him who had the characteristic of devouring blood. Why are the enemies I encounter always so powerful? Closing square bracket. Shen Qing was a little unwilling. At the same time, he also noticed a pair of right hands pinching his shoulders. The back of the hand still exudes black energy. It is clear. He was caught by Mo Wuti. The abnormal calmness and abnormal rage disappeared at the same time. There are a total of 3 bloodline characteristics, but none of them can be turned on at this moment. Shen Qing is anxious. His eyes instinctively looked around. He wanted to see, he was about to be killed by the other party, when would the male zombie take action? However, pupils shrink suddenly, not far from Shen Qing. On the bare loess, the male zombie was standing quietly. The moonlight passed through the dark clouds and shone on his body, although he still couldn't see the other person's face clearly. But Shen Qing can feel it. He not planning to come to the rescue. What are you doing? Did you promise to save me if I was in danger? Closing square bracket. Shen Qing was a little anxious. If this continued, all of his bloodline characteristics would be unable to be activated, and the other party could easily kill him. Now there was nothing he could do. Out of the corner of his eye, he glanced at the bottom of the cliff. Hongyu and Bai Wuhua have also joined the battle. How could the 4 zombies, who were already struggling to fight, find time to help themselves? Are you really going to die? Shen Qing felt bitter in her heart. What the codename Mio said to him that night popped into his mind. The sequelae of creation may make you comatose, but at certain times, the price of coma can give you a higher chance of survival. As for these certain moments such as desperate situations, Shen Qing was stunned. Despair, desperate situation, closing square bracket. Recalling the previous conversation with codename Mio again. Bloodline's inherent talent is creation. Its use depends on your imagination. As long as you dare to think, as long as it's reasonable. There is nothing in this world that you cannot create. Shen Qing. At this moment, his originally tense and anxious mood suddenly became anomaly quiet. His eyes were slightly closed, images flashing over and over in his mind. He opened his eyes, and a flash of color emerged from his eyes. His right hand grabbed Mo Wudi's wrist without any warning. Under the bright moonlight, an anomaly smile appeared on the corner of Shen Qing's lips. Creation zombies are invincible rapid aging. Zitsa. A strange sound came from Mo Wuwei's arm. The sound sounded like something was shrinking at an extremely fast speed. Deep in Mo Wudi's heart, he sensed a hint of extreme danger. The body quickly retreated. Just as he dodged back twice, he stumbled and fell directly to the ground. Want to get up. The strength in the body cannot support it at all. Mo Wudi was shocked. What happened to me? Shen Qing still had a smile on her lips, looking at the scene in front of her indifferently. Mo invincible before, middle-aged, high-spirited. Today's Mo is invincible, elderly, end of life. Apparently he looked like he was about to die. When Shen Qing used creation, his original intention was to directly create Mo Wudi's death. But after thinking about it, as codename Mio said, creation also needs a little rationality. I'm afraid there would be an accident if he died directly. Shen Qing created Mo Wudi's rapid aging. However, before Shen Qing could take a second look at Mo Wuwei's miserable situation. His brain felt dizzy without any warning, and his body went limp and Shen Qing fell into coma. On the eve of falling unconscious, Shen Qing sighed inwardly. The side effects of creating aging lifespans for other zombies are so great. Closing square bracket. It seems that this bloodline's inherent talent and creation must be used with caution in the future. Closing square bracket. Far away, codename Mio watched this scene quietly. He waited for Mo Wudi to age and die, and his whole body looked like skin and bones, before he walked over with light steps. Looking at the unconscious expression, codename Mio smiled with satisfaction. This is right. Betting all your hopes on other zombies is the stupidest behavior. It seems that this kid has accomplished nothing. The words fell. Codename Mio picked up Shen Qing and left directly towards the distance. If I leave this boy to my aunt now, I'm afraid she will burst into tears. Forget it, let's wait a little longer. Codename Mio disappeared with Shen Qing. As for Hongyu, he didn't even look at it from beginning to end. The life and death of these zombies has nothing to do with him. If he could survive, he would be worthy to be his son's companion. If this setback leads to death, even dead, however. Codenamed Mio, little did he know that his move almost plunged him into the point where the myriad tribulations would no longer exist. Because his great-aunt almost skinned Mio because of this incident. Even many years later, codename Mio still deeply remembers her aunt's words. Abandoning my son's companions, why don't you become this father? I will skin you alive today. In the canyon, the 4 zombies, Hongyu, Bai Wuhua, Gao Xiaoxiao, and Mu Langtu, were already covered with wounds. But the injuries are not fatal, and the zombies feel no pain. As long as their operations are not affected, they can still continue fighting. Seeing the zombie army attacking one after another, Bai Wuhua said anxiously, Sister Hong, quickly call Xiao Qingzi to retreat. If we carry it on, we will die. Hongyu frowned. Although I don't want to give up on this high-level quartz crystal mine. But seeing the zombie army coming again, Hongyu gritted her teeth and said, let's go. With all bloodline characteristics turned on, the 4 zombies ran towards the deceived cliff at high speed. The red moon is better. Under the abnormal rage, one can easily climb the cliff just by relying on the explosive force of the impact. A long piece of thread was tied to Lao Mu Bang's head. When swinging the hammer, the thin body can move with the inertia without much effort. Gao Xiaoxiao was not bad either. The 2 weasels were embedded in the rock wall and quickly ran towards the cliff using this method. They are not satisfied with the speed. But the bitter one is Bai Wuhua. That trembling fat body was like a ball, unable to climb up even if it wanted to. Bai Wuhua said with a sad face, hey, you guys should give me a hand. Lao Mu dropped the hammer and used a strong rope to pull Bai Wuhua down the cliff with the help of Hongyu and Gao Xiaoxiao. However, when the 4 zombies looked around and planned to call Shen Qing to leave, they were shocked to find out Shen Qing is missing. Bai Wuhua exploded. Where is Xiao Qingzi? Hongyu's speed increased dramatically and turned into a stream of light, running towards Shen Qing's original location. There, the mastiff disappeared. Shen Qing also disappeared. There was only a primary fissioner waiting for instructions, and a mummy that was so thin that it looked like it was completely dehydrated. But, even if it was a mummy, Hongyu could tell from the other party's clothes that this corpse was the costume of the leader of the zombie army. Hongyu's pupils were trembling, and her slender jade fingers subconsciously covered her mouth. This, Shen Qing killed a zombie army leader. It can be concluded from the traces around that some kind of fierce battle must have taken place here. The commander of the zombie army is dead. Where did Shen Qing and Mastiff go? At this time, Lao Mu came over and waved to Hongyu. Sister Hong, let's go first. I think Shen Qing was taken away by that male zombie. Hear the words. Hongyu let out a long sigh of relief and felt that what Lao Mu said made sense. Seeing that the zombie army from behind was about to rush in, Hongyu did not dare to hesitate and ignored the primary fissioner. She took Bai Wuhua and other zombies and fled towards the distance. Bai Wuhua followed behind and said, oh, what is this? I was chased in District 65 and was on the run. It's fine now. I thought that with the high-level quartz crystal veins, I would definitely be able to live happily ever after. Okay, tell me, are you running for your life again? Gao Xiaoxiao. Fat Bai, shut up now. Hongyu did not pay attention to the 2 zombies, but asked Mu Bengtu seriously, Old Mu, do you think it was the male zombie that took away Shen Qing? Lao Mu nodded and analyzed calmly, based on what Shen Qing said before. That male zombie will never let him die, so as long as Shen Qing disappears, it will never be his death. It was probably the male zombie who took him away. Hongyu thought about it and felt that what Lao Mu said made sense. Immediately, the big stone in my heart was slowly let go. But there was still some worry in my heart. Even if Shen Qing is taken away by a male zombie, how can they reunite? Hongyu and other zombies escaped. Mo Wudi, the leader of the zombie army in District 16, died. The overall death toll in the zombie army reached over 100. Many more were seriously injured. In this battle, District 77 was severely damaged. The commanders of Areas 3 and 5 even failed to complete their arrest mission. For a while, the atmosphere in front of the high-level quartz crystal veins is anomaly heavy. Only Huang Mo. What if there are a lot of zombies in the zombie army? The high-level quartz crystal veins worth 1 billion will belong to Huang Mo after tonight. With these resources, how many zombies cannot be cultivated? Li Tian cursed angrily. Old Mo is actually dead. It's hard to explain now. I'm afraid that adult will definitely blame me. After finishing speaking, Li Tian glared at Huang Mo. I tell you Huang Mo, you must make up for all the losses in our 3 major districts today. Otherwise, I will kill you. Huang Mo frowned, as if he didn't want to endure it anymore. Haha, make up for it. I'll make it up to you. Just as Huang Mo started to curse back, a somewhat immature, yet mature voice came from behind the zombie army. Just listen. Hey, you zombies are really useless. However, since you have touched the boss's son, then you. The petite figure walked out, with cold eyes like a poisonous snake staring at its prey. A bone-chilling chill spread simultaneously with the last few words. Then you all die here. A few hours later, in a simple house, Shen Qing was lying on the bed, her chest rising and falling steadily, and her life was safe. The girl, who was less than 1 meter tall, carefully pushed the door open and entered. After seeing Shen Qing on the bed, he couldn't help but smacked his lips. Tisk tisk, Mio, you are nothing like your son. He is much more handsome than you. Codename Mio. Is everything resolved? The girl patted her chest confidently. Are you still worried about me taking action? In Areas 3, 5, and Area 77, the 3 zombie army leaders are all dead. There are less than 300 zombies left, and I killed them all without a single one left. The girl smiled, stretched out her hand and rubbed her nose. Hey, I'm afraid the expressions at the zombie army headquarters will be absolutely wonderful after hearing the news. By the way, Mio, how is he? There are no signs of waking up yet. Codename Mio shook his head. No. Tiantian, go and watch outside the door. I'll call you when you wake up. Okay, Tiantian replied, then twisted her small body of less than 1 meter and left. However, when she just walked to the door and was about to close the door, she suddenly smiled meaningfully at the codename Mio. Hey, Mio, don't cry secretly. Codename Mio, get out of here. Tiantian, ha ha ha. The door is closed. The room fell into silence again. Codename Mio looked at Shen Qing, who was lying on the bed with his eyes closed, and sighed after a moment. Don't blame your parents for being cruel. The main reason is that the world is about to change. If you can't use your creativity flexibly, I'm afraid it's difficult to survive in troubled times. Time flies. 5 days passed, still in a simple house. As her vision gradually brightened, Shen Qing woke up. However, the first time he woke up, what he saw was not the codename Mio, but the codename Mio. A little Lolita who is constantly studying Shen Qing with her naked body. Shen Qing, you are. Hey, are you awake? Tiantian was happy, not at all embarrassed by her actions just now. I'll call Mio, you wait. Tiantian jumped up and down and ran out of the house. But Shen Qing frowned slightly. Mio. Is that the name of the male zombie? It didn't take long. Codename Mio walked in and smiled slightly after noticing Shen Qing, who had sat up and leaned against the head of the bed. How is your health? Do you still feel powerless? Shen Qing did not answer the question. Instead, he asked directly, your name is Mio? Codename Mio was obviously taken aback. Who did you listen to? Shen Qing looked at Tiantian, and the silence was louder than the sound at this time. Tiantian looked embarrassed and stepped back. Wow, I don't know, I didn't say anything. After saying that, she glared at Shen Qing again. You kid, stop talking nonsense. When did I say his name was Mio? While she was talking, Tiantian had already retreated to the door. Her big eyes rolled, as if she thought of the codename Mio she mentioned when. He shrugged and disappeared in an instant, leaving only one sentence echoing in the house. Bye-bye, Mio. I really didn't mean it. Before you forgive me, I'll run away. Codename Mio. Shen Qing. Isn't Mio your real name? Codename Mio. Don't ask too many questions that you shouldn't. The more you know, the more careful I am to kill the zombies and silence them. Shen Qing shrugged and said, don't scare me. If you knew how to kill me and silence me, you wouldn't have saved me before. I'm really convinced. Codename Mio put one hand on her forehead, thinking that her son had actually eaten her. It was an extremely uncomfortable feeling. But he still didn't dwell on the name issue. Instead, he asked Shen Qing directly about the details on the cliff 5 days ago. What did you create to Mo Wudi? Hearing this, Shen Qing said directly, I created rapid aging for him. I originally planned to directly create death, but after thinking about it, I felt that something might go wrong, so I switched to extreme aging. Codename Mio nodded lightly. Your feeling is right. If you create death for Mo Wudi this time, I'm afraid the side effects you will encounter will be unprecedented. Shen Qing, listen carefully. Codename Mio's expression suddenly became very serious. Although there are no restrictions on creation, it does have serious side effects. Especially for highly intelligent life. I told you before that creation can even create extinct humans, but if you really do it, the side effects may directly kill you. Don't try to create life easily until your body functions meet certain requirements. The alien zombie beast king was enough to surprise me. But fortunately, the intelligence of the alien zombie beast king is not high, and the side effects are not that big. However, this time it affected a zombie army leader with high intelligence. It directly affects his lifespan and causes him to age rapidly and die. This can be considered as affecting highly intelligent life. So, the side effects left you in a coma for 5 days. Codename Mio says a lot. Shen Qing also listened to a lot. This was the first time that he learned such detailed details about the inherent talent and creation of the bloodline from other zombies. It was during the narration of Codename Mio that Shen Qing recalled some previous situations of using creation. Shen Qing was unconscious for several hours after creating Apex-level bloodline for herself. Shen Qing was in a coma for more than a day after creating the alien zombie beast king. Shen Qing was in a coma for 3 days because of Hong Yu's unusual calmness. Mo Wudi used creation to age quickly, but Shen Qing fell into a coma for 5 days. It can be seen from this. The greater the impact on highly intelligent life, the more severe the side effects of creation will be. But when Shen Qing created herself, no matter it was bloodline characteristics or bloodline level, it seems that the side effects are not as severe as those used on other zombies. Sudden, an idea came to Shen Qing's mind, and he immediately said directly, Mio, if I directly create an awakening value for myself, do you think it's feasible? Codename Mio was stunned when he heard this, then shook his head and said in denial, it's not feasible. You need to figure out what the bloodline awakening value is. It's the development and improvement your body undergoes outside of combat. If you increase it directly, has your body developed it? When did it develop? Where did it develop? How did it develop? There are too many instability factors, which can lead to problems with creation. Oh, Shen said softly, it was just a whim. But luckily this idea came to me in front of Codename Mio. When Shen Qing was alone, she came up with this idea on a whim and tried it directly. I am afraid the consequences could be disastrous. Sure enough, bloodline's inherent talent, creation, is very dangerous. You must be more cautious in the future. Closing square bracket. Shen Qing warned herself secretly. The matter of creation has come to an end for the time being. Shen Qing looked around and asked, by the way, where are Hongyu and the others? Codename Mio waved his hand with a very calm expression. I don't know, maybe he died, maybe he survived. When I took you away, I didn't care about them. Codename Mio lied, because when Tiantian killed all the zombie army leaders, she had already discovered that Hongyu and other zombies had escaped. Now, the reason why I say this is because I want to see the status of Hongyu and other zombies in his son's heart. Maybe this is a common problem for every father when it comes to making friends with his son. However, the codename Mio was unexpected. Shen Qing's reaction was so huge. I saw. Shen suddenly stood up from the bed and looked at codename Mio with a hint of anger in his eyes. You. Shen Qing was anxious and rushed out the door. No, I have to go find them now. However, just at this time, Tiantian pushed open the door and walked in, just in time to meet Shen Qing. Tiantian, hey, what are you doing on the plane? Are you greedy for my body? Boy, I have to tell you, we two are not suitable for each other. Shen Qing was in a hurry because of Hongyu and other zombies, and had no time to argue with Tiantian. He pushed Tiantian away and planned to walk out. The hand holding Tiantian's petite body was unable to move her at all no matter how hard she tried. Tiantian chuckled. Save your energy. Just you. You're not qualified. The words fell. Tiantian glanced at the codename Mio and said, Mio, he is here. When codename Mio heard this, his expression suddenly changed, and his originally relaxed brows also wrinkled. He stood up and said coldly, Did she send you? Tiantian, I don't know. I asked and didn't say anything. I asked him so many times that my skin was almost worn out, but he only said one sentence in the end. The codename Mio seems to have already guessed. Let me see him in person. Tiantian, yes. Codename Mio walked to the door and patted Shen Qing on the shoulder. You rest in the room first. Hongyu and the others are not dead. When Tiantian passed by, he saw them running away. After bypassing Shen Qing, codename Mio waved at Tiantian. Let's go, let me see what that guy's purpose is. It didn't take long. Shen Qing was the only one left in the room. But a long breath was exhaled at this time. Huh. As long as it's okay. Just as long as it's okay. Shen Qing was really worried just now. Hong Yu, Bai Wuhua and the others have been with Shen Qing for a long time, and without knowing it, Shen Qing has already regarded them as companions. If Shen Qing is alive, Hong Yu and other zombies are dead. He didn't even know how to face it in the days to come. Good thing, Hong Yu and the others are still alive. Gritting his teeth, Shen Qing muttered to himself unhappily, that guy Mio is even more playful than Lao Bai. Is this kind of thing something you can joke about? Outside the dense forest where Shen Qing is located is a small grassland. On top, you can still see some animals that have not been transformed into zombies. Here, it is more like a paradise that has never been contaminated by zombie viruses. On the grassland, a male zombie wearing black tights was sitting on the ground, his emotionless eyes staring straight at a cow not far away. That sight, it seems that the location is a bit special. Sudden, a voice came. Does the cow's milk look good? Do you want to touch it? Although the codename Mio was smiling, a trace of anger could be felt between his brows. The male zombie shrugged slightly. Forget it, it's better to leave this kind of good thing to you. Tiantian pinched Mio's waist and said, Mio, are you disgusting? Codename Mio ignored her, and still stared at her with those deep eyes. Did she ask you to come? Male zombie, yeah. Boss heard that you recently killed 4 commanders in areas 3, 5, 16, and 77. He asked me to come over and ask about the specific situation. And let me send you a message. Codename Mio, what did you say? The male zombie cleared his throat, and then, his voice suddenly became several decibels louder and he said angrily, Mio, why are you waiting for me? Are you brave? Are you fat? Are you in a mood? How dare you instruct Tiantian to kill the leaders of the 3 major districts and District 77? Why the hell didn't you kill Long Qianyang in Area 1? Also, I don't care what your reasons are, please hurry up and come back quickly. Otherwise, my bed will be. The male zombie hasn't finished speaking yet. However, the codename Mio stepped forward and covered his mouth, and said with an embarrassed look on his face, well, there's no need to say the last sentence, I know it all. The male zombie remained expressionless and said calmly, okay. The boss asked me to come over and check on you. It is said that you have been staring at a young zombie recently and she needs his detailed information. Hear the words. Codename Mio frowned visibly. He waved his hand at the other party and said directly, you don't have to worry about this matter. I will report to her myself when I get back. Okay, if you have nothing else to do, you can leave. Tell her that I will go back in 3 days. The male zombie still didn't move, his eyes looked straight past Mio, looking at the house deep in the dense forest. This look and this attitude made codename Mio feel very unhappy. Sudden, the male zombie said, is he in that house? Codename Mio, I told you, it has nothing to do with you. Male zombie, sorry, orders cannot be disobeyed. As soon as he finished speaking, the male zombie's speed suddenly increased. But his feet did not fluctuate violently due to the sudden increase in speed. Instead, his entire body was like a dead leaf. It moves with the strong wind at extremely fast speeds. Codename Mio wanted to stop him, but it was too late. The other party actually arrived at the door of the house in just 1 or 2 breaths. And at the same time, he pushed open the door. Tiantian and Mio looked at each other and couldn't help but shrugged. It's over, I'm afraid I can't hide the matter of your illegitimate child. Codename Mio, I'm hiding your sister. Oh no, I'm an illegitimate sister. Let that aunt know about Shen Qing, I'm afraid she won't come here in person. It seems to conjure up some horrific scenes. Tiantian's petite body suddenly trembled, and she subconsciously swallowed and shook her head, slip away. Mio, please wish yourself well. The boss is here in person. I'm afraid this place will be shaken up on the spot. I'm going to go out and avoid the limelight, said. Tiantian actually planned to leave right now. But at this time, house direction, 2 figures walked out of it very calmly. Looking at it, it looked like they were talking about something. Codename Mio and Tiantian looked at each other blankly, then hurried away. As he got closer, he heard the 2 talking about something. Male zombie. So that's it, the original companion of the killing machine in Area 65. However, your strength. Shen Qing shrugged and smiled bitterly. I can't help it, I'm born this way. Junior bloodline zombies don't have any bloodline characteristics. If Sister Hong and the others hadn't been willing to take me in, I might have died on the day District 65 fell. The male zombie nodded. Indeed, we have also heard about Area 65, and we have also heard about your wanted arrest. After finishing speaking, the male zombie suddenly asked, Oh, by the way, I still don't know your name. Can you tell me your name? Shen Qing. Mu Bai. The male zombie nodded. Mu Bai, when you were in Area 65, did you ever hear about a young zombie named Shen Qing? Live in a zombie home. Shen Qing's expression was obviously stagnant, and his pupils dilated because of this problem. The code-named Mio not far away felt even more nervous, secretly thinking that something bad had happened. Shen Qing was stunned for a moment, then smiled and shook his head. No, I am not qualified to remove the zombies from the military home. I'm afraid the guy you are talking about has already gone to the zombie army in Area 65. Yes, the male zombie nodded, stopped and looked at Shen Qing and said, Since you and the killing machine both belong to Area 65, I think the boss will accept you. You think about it, you can join us if you want. At least, by joining us, you won't have to worry about being wanted by the zombie army. Shen Qing said seriously. Okay, I will think about it carefully. While the two zombies were talking, codename Mio had arrived, and at the same time, his heart was on tenterhooks. As he watched the male zombie leave, his heart was still beating violently. However, just when he thought everything was finally over, Shen Qing's voice suddenly came out. Just listen. Mio, now, are you sure you still don't want to explain? Why does your organization specifically ask about me? Codename Mio. It's over, it's a blessing, not a curse, it's a curse that can't be avoided. Closing square bracket. Looking at Shen Qing, codename Mio felt extremely miserable. But Shen Qing kept asking, Are you related to my parents? You know Chuang. Shen Qing's voice paused, and she glanced at Tiantian, then cautiously changed her words, You know my secret. The male zombie asked about me again just now. I think, except for my parents, no one will care about me and understand me so much, right? Tell me, who are you, and what is your relationship with my parents? Codename Mio looked at Shen Qing, but hesitated several times. Tiantian was so anxious beside her that she wanted to grab Shen Qing and tell him loudly right now. Hey, this shameless guy is your father. However, Tiantian knew that this matter could not be discussed without the consent of codename Mio. Even Tiantian doesn't know the reason. Be silent for a while. Codename Mio finally sighed, Actually, I am your long-lost father. So, codename Mio suddenly had tears in her eyes. She held Shen Qing's cheek and said excitedly, Quick, call Dad. Shen Qing, PFF'd, Tiantian couldn't hold it back. Cough cough, cough cough, you choked me to death, it's okay, leave me alone, you continue. Shen Qing's face was ugly. She slapped Mio's hand away and said angrily, Don't talk nonsense. If you were my father, then I would say that I am really Mu Bai. Although Shen Qing and her father have not seen each other for a long time. It can even be said that the last time we met was at least 4 years ago. However, he still remembered his father's appearance freshly. Now this Mio, stop it, he is a completely shameless ruffian. It is true that he is powerful, but his funny personality cannot be fake either. His Shen Qing's father was a serious person. He used to be dignified and solemn in the past, and his voice was full of refusal. It's not the same species as the Mio in front of you, okay? However, Shen Qing never dreamed that this guy whom he absolutely denied was actually his father. Codename Mio coughed twice. Well, I'm not that unbearable, right? Are you the same? Shen Qing. Very much, I don't want anyone to pretend to be my father, even if you have the strength to kill me easily. This time, codename Mio was not laughing, but said seriously to Shen Qing with a serious face, Shen Qing. There are things about our organization that I can't tell you yet. But there is something I can explain to you in advance. We do have detailed information about your parents. Shen Qing was overjoyed, grabbed codename Mio's arm and wanted to ask. However, a basin of cold water was poured out by the codename Mio. Don't get excited, there are more to come. Codename Mio said solemnly. Want to know about them and find them. Then work hard to become stronger. At least you won't know about this until you defeat the zombie army commander without using it. Shen Qing turned from joy to doubt and asked puzzledly, why? Don't ask, you just don't know. As if he didn't want to continue this topic, Mio, the code name, said after he finished speaking, okay, I have something to leave recently. Let Tiantian take you to find your companion. Moreover, Tiantian will protect you in the dark in the short term. If her life is in danger, she will take action. Of course, mark my words, don't base your hopes on other zombies. Otherwise, you may die one day without knowing how. After saying this, codename Mio ran away as if he didn't want to stay for a moment. Tiantian looked at this scene and couldn't help smacking her lips and sighing. As the saying goes, one thing will bring another thing down. Near the zombie army camp in Area 77. On top of a huge tree branch. Hong Yu cleverly hides her body and observes every move in the military camp. Moment. Something is wrong, 12 out of 10 is wrong. Closing square bracket. Why didn't you see Huang Mo and Lao Qi? Closing square bracket. Also, the zombies in the military camp seem to have unfamiliar faces. Closing square bracket. Before, when she came to Area 77, Hongyu personally visited the zombie camp in Area 77 several times in order to talk about the high-level zombie crystal veins. She has a good memory, even if she can't remember all the zombies' faces. But there are still some who are familiar with most zombies. But now, wherever Hongyu looked, every zombie she saw was very strange. Even giving these zombies to Hongyu and the others doesn't feel like Area 77. However, at this time, 2 zombies came to the fence of the military area close to the big tree where the red moon was. Rub. The fire lit up, and the 2 zombies puffed out smoke. One of them took a few puffs and couldn't help complaining, I've been really nervous these days. I'm afraid that my head will fall off without realizing it. Another zombie nodded in agreement. Yes, Grandma, nearly 400 zombie armies, and the zombie army commanders from 4 districts, all evaporated overnight. I suspect that those zombies may have died. Hongyu's pupils shrank sharply. My heart is like a stormy sea. What? Closing square bracket. Huang Mo and the others have disappeared. Closing square bracket. A terrifying premonition emerged in Hongyu's mind. If it weren't for the fact that these 2 zombie soldiers were still there, I'm afraid she would be eager to leave right now. But it was precisely because the 2 zombie soldiers did not leave that Hongyu heard the next words. The commander of District 8 has assembled a lot of zombie troops this time. Looking at the trend, they are planning to annex Area 77. That adult doesn't have any objections to this. It's just a pain for us zombies who just came back from the outside. Unexpectedly, it changed hands directly. Shut up, don't let the zombies in Area 8 hear. Let's put it bluntly, they are the dogs of the commanders. They just need to be obedient. Isn't it just a wagging tail for whoever you accept as your master? It doesn't matter, as long as you can survive. Besides, so many zombie armies are missing in our district this time. Even if we don't annex our district will be completely destroyed. That's true. However, I heard that the adult is planning to come to our area in person recently. I don't know if it's true. I've heard about it too. I'm afraid they came to us because of those wanted zombies and the annexation of Area 77 by Area 8. I don't know, it has nothing to do with us. Let's go back quickly. The commander of District 8 has a weird temper. I've been beaten by him a lot recently. Go. Don't mention it, that guy is just mentally ill. The 2 zombie soldiers took a few puffs and left. But after they left for a while, Hongyu still couldn't come back to her senses. What's the situation? Closing square bracket. The commander of District 8 annexed District 77. Closing square bracket. Long Qianyang personally came to Area 77 to capture these wanted zombies. Closing square bracket. That adult, no need to think twice. When Hongyu was still in the zombie army, all the zombies did not dare to call Long Qianyang by his first name. Whenever he is mentioned, he is always replaced by, that lord. These zombies in Area 77 are naturally no exception. Only, Hongyu really didn't expect that their incident would actually alarm the giant Buddha Long Qianyang. Slowly exhaling a breath, Hong Yu's figure turned into a stream of red light and disappeared into the night. About a few hours, only then did he arrive at a natural cave. However, the moment he entered the cave, a cold killing intent pressed over him, almost as if he was suffocating. A childish voice came from behind her at the same time. Hee, killing machine. Looking at it now, is it nothing more than that? Who? Hong Yu did not turn around, but rushed towards the cave at high speed. Because from the killing intent just now, she sensed the danger of the other party. This zombie is definitely not something I can defeat. Closing square bracket. I was shocked at the same time. Hong Yu also began to guess who the visitor was. However, before she could figure out the reason, a familiar voice suddenly made her freeze on the spot. Hey, Sister Hong, it's me. Hong Yuemu looked back at the cave entrance in shock. Shen Ching. At the entrance of the cave, the figure of a young man showed his handsome face under the bright moonlight. Who else could he be if he wasn't Shen Qing? Hong Yu stepped forward quickly, looking around with eyes still full of vigilance. It seemed that he was still on guard against the owner of the murderous intention just now. Shen Qing smiled and said, Sister Hong, stop looking for him, that guy has already left. Hong Yu was shocked again. That guy? You know. Shen Qing nodded before describing his own experience and the codenames Mio and Tiantian. Of course, there is also the sweet and boring prank just now. A few minutes later, Hong Yu let out a long sigh of relief. I was scared to death. I thought the commander of District 8 was coming. Let's go. Lao Bai and the others have been worried about you for many days. Go and tell them that you are safe. Those guys, these days, they don't think about food and drink. They are so negative. Shen Qing's heart warmed up, and she followed Hong Yu towards the cave with a slight hum. As for how Tiantian knew about Hong Yu, an extremely hidden hiding place, Shen Qing doesn't care, because whether it's Mio or Tiantian, they are both too mysterious. Deep in the cave, King Za, 1-2, another 2, I want to ask you, are you angry? Ha. Bai Wuhua laughed heartily, and while laughing, he reached for the corpse crystal ore on the big stone. Ha, old Mu, Xiao, in my opinion, you just have to admit that you are a noob. Gao Xiao gritted his teeth stingily. Fat Bai, come again. If I can't play with you today, I will kill you with my own hands. Bai Wuhua's neck shrank. Is this too much? Are you letting me win or let me lose? Mu Bengtu was still taciturn, and nodded slightly and replied with one word. Should. Shen Qing was speechless after witnessing this scene. Looking at Hong Yu with an embarrassed face, Shen Qing asked, are you worried about what you promised? You said you don't want to eat and drink, don't you? Why do I see them happier than when I was here? Red Moon. Well, maybe I'm missing you so much that these three guys went crazy. Shen Qing. Is this scientific? Hong Yu gritted her teeth and gasped, wait for me. The words fell. Hong Yu actually activated the abnormal rage and turned into a stream of light and rushed towards Bai Wuhua and the three of them. After a few seconds, Bai Wuhua covered her head with tears streaming down her face. Sister Hong, don't hit me. Even if you hit me, tell me where I went wrong. Although zombies don't feel pain, the feeling of being knocked is uncomfortable. As the saying goes, a toad crawls on the toe of a shoe. It doesn't hurt people, but it disgusts people. Gao Xiao had sneaked to the side a long time ago. Looking at the inhumane scene of beating zombies, she couldn't help but swallowed. It's over, Sister Hong is crazy again. Lao Mu was extremely calm. He walked leisurely to Shen Qing and nodded, back. Shen Qing was a little surprised. Aren't you worried about me? Lao Mu shrugged. I'm worried, but I know that as long as you are taken away by that male zombie, nothing will happen to you. Shen Qing gave her thumbs up. It has to be you, you are so calm and inhumane. Lao Mu. I am a zombie, I don't need humanity. Oh, by the way, I suddenly discovered that your personality is more cheerful than before. Shen Qing was stunned for a moment, only to realize this later. It seemed that during the short time he spent with Mio and Tiantian, he was really affected by these two weird zombies. Shen Qing scratched his head and said with a smile, I don't know, I guess so. Bai Wuhua was still being beaten. Hong Yu was really smart. She broke off all 10 of Lao Bai's fingers, and then she crossed her chest with her hands angrily and said, are you playing? Let me see how you can play. Bai Wuhua's hand doesn't hurt, but his difficulty in moving is definitely there. With a sad face, he pointed at himself with a completely bent finger. Why do you only hit me? Xiao Xiao and Lao Mu also played. Hong Yu raised her chin in the direction of Shen Qing. The two of them are more discerning than you. Bai Wuhua was dissatisfied, turned around and looked over, and said at the same time, I, Lao Bai, have the best eyesight. When did Xiao Qingzi come back? At this time. Bai Wuhua belatedly noticed Shen Qing. At the same time, it was also discovered that Lao Mu and Gao Xiaoxiao were already greeting Shen Qing. Hong Yu, do you know why I beat you? The white five-flowered head shook wildly, like a rattle. Hong Yu gritted her teeth and said, because. I just told Shen Qing that you have been very worried about him recently, and you don't want to worry about food or tea. Then, you were the one who cheered the most when we were playing cards just now. I am Miss Hong. I really can't bear it. So, forgive me, I really don't blame you for this. If I do, I can only blame you for being such a fool. Bai Wuhua, don't I want to be self-respecting? Closing square bracket. After the fun, all members of the Eastern Excavation Team finally gathered together again. Bai Wuhua, Gao Xiaoxiao, and Mu Lengtu were all curious about Shen Qing's experience in the past few days. Even though Hong Yu had already heard Shen Qing say it once, she was still listening happily. After a while, Bai Wuhua stretched out the finger that was broken by Hong Yu and exclaimed, My dear, did you really kill that zombie army commander? Your so-called bloodline inherent talent and creation is so awesome. Because Shen Qing had confessed before. Therefore, in this narrative, he did not hide anything anymore. Gao Xiaoxiao smacked his lips. After you disappeared before, we listened to Sister Hong and Lao Mu talking about creation. At that time, I thought they were lying to fools, but I didn't expect that this creation turned out to be real. Shen Qing, I find you are getting more and more handsome. Lao Mu was silent for a while, and finally looked at Shen Qing with burning eyes, and said in a squeaky voice, Shen Qing, what I said before. Shen Qing was stunned. Knowing what Lao Mu wanted to say, he nodded. Although he didn't answer, he agreed. Lao Mu wants to improve his combat capabilities, which is a good thing. Today's Lao Mu's overall fighting ability is not as good as Bai Wuhua. It is not an exaggeration to say that he is the weakest among the 5 zombies. Lao Mu didn't talk much in the past, but the things he was thinking about were messy. Sometimes he thought that among the 5 zombies in the Eastern Excavation Team, he was holding them back all the time except for surveying. So, that's why he was so eager to ask Shen Qing to create a bloodline characteristic for him that was related to combat. Only, this matter needs long-term consideration. Especially after the reminder about the codename Mio. Shen Qing is more cautious about the use of his bloodline's inherent talent and creation. Sudden, Hong Yu asked in one sentence, but all the zombies he collected were shocked by his words. I saw Hong Yu looking seriously at Shen Qing. Shen Qing, let me ask you a question. Except for Mo Wudi, are all the other zombie armies and leaders also dead? Chapter 81. The zombies were shocked. Bai Wuhua couldn't help but exclaimed. Sister Hong, what did you say? The other 3 zombie army commanders and the hundreds of zombie army are all dead. Lao Mu also fell silent, but his frown showed that he was also thinking about this matter. Gao Xiaoxiao even covered his mouth in horror. After Shen Qing was briefly surprised, she seemed to remember some of the previous things. He remembered that Mio had said such a thing. You rest in the room first. Hong Yu and the others are not dead. When Tiantian passed by, she saw them running away. This sentence means that, at that time, after Mio took me away, Tiantian went there again. Closing square bracket. Shen Qing's expression was serious, but there was some uncertainty in his tone. I'm not sure. But Sister Hong, do you still remember the aura that made a silly joke with you outside the cave just now, right? Hong Yu nodded. Shen Qing continued. If something happens to that zombie army, I'm afraid it must be related to her. With this clue, Hong Yu's guess was almost confirmed. It can make those commanders and so many zombie armies disappear. With this kind of strength, I'm afraid there is no one else except those zombies. Only, Hong Yu still couldn't figure it out. Now that she, Bai Wuhua and other zombies have escaped, Shen Qing has been successfully rescued again. Why did that zombie go back and deal with the commander and the zombie army? After a brief thought, Hongyu stood up and said, let's go back to the high-level quartz crystal mine to have a look. Late at night, the fork in the canyon. By the time Hongyu and the other zombies arrived, their noses were already filled with the strong smell of blood. Although I didn't see any corpses of the zombie army. But the blue-black blood on the ground almost dried up like a river. This scene can prove it. After they left, an unprecedented massacre occurred here. And the perpetrator of this massacre was just a zombie less than 1 meter tall. Hiss, Bai Wuhua took a breath of air, it's too scary. Can you easily deal with so many zombies by yourself? My dear, what kind of monster is that zombie? Hongyu shook her head and frowned deeply. Shen Qing looked around. When he looked up towards the cliff above, he suddenly noticed the petite figure. Under the moonlight, Tiantian had a sweet smile on her lips. But this smile, combined with the current scene, made Shen Qing couldn't help but shiver down his spine. The appearance of Tiantian is just an instant. In the blink of an eye, Shen Qing had already disappeared from the cliff. At this time Hongyu said, it seems that the zombie army and its leaders are all dead. In this case, what I heard in Area 77 is true. After finishing her words, Hongyu looked at Shen Qing with a hint of helplessness in her eyes. Shen Qing, maybe we are in danger again. I learned from the zombie army in District 77 that the commander of District 1, Long Qianyang, is here. And he is most likely planning to arrest us personally. What? Bai Wuhua was shocked again. Sister Hong, your joke is not funny at all, Long Qianyang. That Long Qianyang who is the top of the clouds in District 1. Today, we are recognized as the strongest zombie in the world. Hongyu nodded, her face looking very ugly. Bai Wuhua was like a deflated rubber ball in an instant. How to fight? This is impossible to beat. But as soon as he finished speaking, he seemed to have thought of something, and suddenly patted his head and said, by the way, Sister Hong. You said we would hide right next to the high-level quartz crystal mine. It's so hidden here. Is it safe as long as we don't go out? Hearing this, Hongyu shook her head directly, not necessarily. There is no guarantee whether those zombie armies escaped or not. Although, from what I heard from the zombie army in Area 77, it seems that they didn't even know that these zombies were dead. But we can't afford to gamble on this kind of thing. What's more, the other party is Long Qianyang. Even if we escape to the ends of the world, we will still die. Bai Wuhua cried sadly. Then what do you think we should do? Are we just waiting to die? Shen Qing suddenly said, she may have a way. After saying this, Shen Qing rushed to the top of the cliff and shouted, Tiantian, what do you think? There was no one on the cliff, not to mention zombies, not even a hair. But that young and mature voice appeared out of thin air. Not much. For some reasons, the old guy won't touch you for the time being, but these companions of yours, I'm afraid it's all over. Shen Qing wanted to ask, but was interrupted in advance by a sweet voice. Okay, don't ask me anything, I'm busy. I'm not your father, you can figure it out yourself. Finish. Tiantian didn't say a word. Shen Qing looked embarrassed, pointed at it and scratched his head. Don't worry, they are all crazy. Tiantian, you are the one who is crazy, be careful I will beat you up. Shen Qing, Bai Wuhua, Hongyu and other zombies. After a while, Hongyu, if what she said is true, Shen Qing doesn't have to worry about her safety now. Although I don't know the reason, I think she won't make fun of Shen Qing's life. Holding her chin, Hongyu kept her brows furrowed, as if she had no clue about this matter. However, just at this time, Lao Mu spoke, Shen Qing, maybe you can use Chuang. But just as he was about to speak, Shen Qing directly covered his mouth and made a shushing gesture beside his mouth. Mu Lengtu immediately gave instructions, bypassing all matters related to creation and said, Shen Qing, maybe we can dig a small underground city to hide. It is not difficult to understand what Lao Mu means. Rather than digging a small dungeon, it would be better to ask Shen Qing to create a place underground that is large enough to accommodate the 5 zombies. Only, this matter is quite complicated, and having a place does not mean it is safe. Food, drink, daily living, etc. all need to be considered. Besides, no one knows how long Long Qianyang will look for them. So, Lao Mu's idea was quickly refuted by Hongyu. Instead, Hongyu came up with a very bold idea that made Shen Qing's eyes light up. Hongyu smiled softly and said, have you ever heard a sentence? The most dangerous place is the safest place. Shen Qing, Bai Wuhua and other zombies looked at it at the same time, wondering what the red moon meant. The corner of Hongyu's mouth raised a hint of meaning and said, let's go to Area 1. At this time, on the cliff, Tiantian's eyes widened. Disbelief was written all over his face. Holy shit, is this killing machine filled with paste in its head? Closing square bracket. Isn't this a bit too courageous? Closing square bracket. Knowing that they are wanted in 197 dungeons around the world, and Area 1 is the most core place among all dungeons. Closing square bracket. There is also the terrifying Long Qianyang sitting inside. This guy actually plans to go to the first area. Closing square bracket. How about playing? Closing square bracket. However, when Hongyu's final words came from below, Tiantian had to give her a thumbs up in her heart. Just listen to Hongyu continue. Since Long Qianyang comes to District 77. That Area 1 is actually safer. As long as we find a way to change our appearance, we will never be discovered by zombies. At the same time, we also stayed away from Long Qianyang. I don't think he would have dreamed that we would do the exact opposite. Is the plan feasible? The answer is yes, feasible. In particular, Shen Qing has a creative talent, and changing the appearance of zombies is a piece of cake. Change your appearance and enter Zone 1. As Hongyu said, let alone Long Qianyang, even all the zombies in the 197 dungeons around the world would never have imagined that the 5 wanted zombies would actually appear in the first area dungeon. This method was quickly finalized by a group of zombies. But because Tiantian didn't know about creation, Shen Qing still deliberately avoided her. The next day, early morning, outside the cave, 5 zombies looked at each other. Then, all laughed. Bai Wuhua, Sister Hong, I don't think you can change back again in the future. You look much better now than before. Hongyu's originally messy hair has now become a sleek, short hair, and her short hair is black. It matches Hong Yuexin's appearance just right. Especially those bright eyes are like the finishing touch. Hongyu's image has improved several degrees at this time. As for Bai Wuhua, he still looked as fat as ever, but his appearance looked obviously naive. To put it bluntly, pure silly fat man. Lao Mu is even simpler. With the extra hair, almost no one can recognize him. Gao Xiaoxiao changed his hair color and his appearance slightly, and almost no zombies could recognize him. As for Shen Qing, Bai Wuhua said with a sad face, yes, of the 100 points of energy, you can use 101 points on yourself. On Shen Qing's face, she has sharp eyebrows, angular cheeks, and a high and straight nose. The black hair is neither long nor short, making Shen Qing's handsome face look even more handsome. Hongyu was not in the mood to joke, so she took a deep breath and said, let's go. The cave is not far away. Tiantian looked at the 5 zombies in surprise and couldn't help but rub her eyes. I go. Closing square bracket. The disguise skills of these guys are a bit too real, right? Closing square bracket. However, if you enter the first area with such an appearance, no one will notice it. Closing square bracket. I just don't know what they will do about the pass. Closing square bracket. Not just one area. As long as zombies go to any dungeon, they cannot be put in without a pass to prove their identity. Certainly. Except for new humans. Those guys are so fast and furious that sneaking into Area 65 is like eating and drinking. But even so, if new humans want to enter Zone 1, it is absolutely impossible. Because District 1 is not just an underground city. At the same time, he is also the core of 197 dungeons around the world. It is also where the headquarters of the zombie army is located. Seeing the 5 zombies about to walk away, Tiantian followed them slowly with curiosity. A few days later, Area 1 Underground City, the westernmost side of the bustling city. A group of well-trained zombies stood quietly in the open space. In front of them was a zombie with apex-level bloodline. At the same time, this zombie's bloodline awakening value reaches a terrifying 85%. The status is second only to Long Qianyang, the top of the clouds. He is the deputy commander of the zombie army in District 1. Murong Tian, also known as the world's strongest instructor. Murong Tian glanced at the 20 young zombies in front of him, and finally nodded and said, Everyone, I think you also know the purpose of this trip to District 1. So, I'll keep this short. I need you. Within a month, all bloodline awakening values will reach over 50%. Can it be done? After Morong Tien finished speaking, the young zombies all whispered. After all, among them, even the highest bloodline awakening value is less than 20%. Now, Morong Tien told them that they need to reach 50% bloodline awakening value within a month. Isn't this pure nonsense? However, among the team, a female zombie with a cold expression stared at Morong Tien with burning eyes, although she never spoke. But her eyes successfully attracted Morong Tien's attention. I saw. Morong Tien waved his hand, and the scene suddenly became quiet. I know you are confused. The bloodline awakening value has increased by nearly 30% in 1 month. Is this reasonable? I can tell you responsibly that this is very reasonable. Because, from today on, the battle you are going to experience is no longer a zombie beast, but a real executor or even a fissioner. Wow, what kind of plane are you doing? Executor and fissioner, doesn't this mean we will die? That's right, I'm here for special training, not to die. There is no artificial intelligence war now, so there is no need to rush to increase the bloodline awakening value. I will not do this special training. The discussion started again. Morong Tien completely ignored it. Those eyes, as deep as the vast starry sky, crossed all the zombies and stared directly at the face of the female zombie. Are you feeling calm in your heart? Closing square bracket. Morong Tien felt happy. It seems that I have met a good seedling this time. Closing square bracket. Suddenly he stretched out his hand and pointed in the direction of the female zombie. Morong Tien said, "You, get out of the queue." The female zombie remained expressionless as she silently walked out of the team and stood in front of Morong Tien. Morong Tien nodded with satisfaction and asked, "What's your name?" Female zombie. Tang Ling. Morong Tien. Make an introduction. Tang Ling. Zombie army belonging to District 65, Apex level bloodline zombies, bloodline characteristics, whole body strengthening. The bloodline awakening value is now 21%. Boom. At this moment, the entire team exploded. Holy shit, did I hear that right? This girl actually has the same bloodline characteristics as that adult. And she's also an Apex level bloodline zombie. Hey, there's something wrong with your attention, right? Shouldn't you be wondering why this girl has 21% awakening value? Hiss, it's so scary, 21%. Has this guy been fighting since he awakened? Morong Tien smiled, with appreciation in his eyes. He really picked up a good seed today. It turns out to be the same bloodline and bloodline characteristics as the old dragon. Closing square bracket. Looks like he has just joined the zombie army. Closing square bracket. In other words, it only took about a month for this girl to increase her bloodline awakening value by 21%. Closing square bracket. What a seedling. What a good seedling. Closing square bracket. Morong Tien liked it more and more. The idea of poaching Tang Ling from Area 65 to Area 1 even came up in his mind. Shifting his gaze, he glanced at the team with disdain, and Morong Tien said directly, "In terms of your eyesight, you may all be geniuses. But in my eyes, only zombies like Tang Ling can be called geniuses." And she never had any doubts or questions from beginning to end. After saying that, Morong Tien's eyes fell on Tang Ling and asked again, "Tang Ling, let me ask you. Are you confident that it will increase from 21% to 50% in 1 month?" Tang Ling remained expressionless and did not answer, but the slight movement of his head expressed everything. But Morong Tien did not stop, but continued to ask, "Why? Where does your confidence come from? You have to know that the next battle will not be with zombie beasts, but with real executors, even fissioners." Morong Tien planned to test Tang Ling's endurance and temperament. However, he was wrong. As Morong Tien finished speaking, Tang Ling said something. "The executor and the splitter. I've faced it all." What? This time, it wasn't just the young zombies who were shocked. Even Morong Tien couldn't help but exclaimed. But only for a moment. Morong Tien regained his composure and nodded slightly as he looked at Tang Ling. "I feel very sorry for what happened in Area 65. Tang Ling still didn't speak. I don't know when. Tang Ling, who liked to talk and was even a bit talkative, has now completely turned into the same bad talker as Shen Qing back then. She also drew the prefix of an iceberg in the hearts of Murong Tien and other young zombies. But, for Murong Tien, zombies do not need to have too complicated emotions, especially the more indifferent to emotions, the stronger such zombies will be in the future. Zombies troubled by emotions have infinite weaknesses. Murong Tien felt that he had really picked up the seeds of supreme grade this time. Night, the above-ground world governed by one area. 5 figures galloped and stopped here. Hongyu waved her hand and warned her surroundings. Okay, we will rest near here today. Late in the evening, we tried to get into Zone 1. After saying that, Hongyu looked at Shen Qing. Shen Qing, is there no problem with the pass? Shen Qing nodded. No problem. With the pass you gave me before for the zombie army in Area 77, there is no problem in getting our own. Hongyu. Okay, thank you for your hard work. Bai Wuhua lay on the ground and stretched. I'm so exhausted. I haven't stopped all the way. Sister Hong, you said we come to Area 1, what about the previous high-level quartz crystal veins? Just don't want it anymore. Hongyu. You must definitely do it, but wait until this period of time passes first. At least until Long Qianyang stops looking for us. Bai Wuhua. How long will it take? Hongyu sighed. I don't know, just take a step and see. At this time, Shen Qing, who was sitting alone on a boulder, was a little distracted looking at the zombie panel in front of him. Zombie. Shen Qing. Bloodline level main primary bloodline. Bloodline level time apex level bloodline created due to inherent talent, cannot be viewed by other zombies. Blood awakening value 31%. Bloodline characteristics main none. Bloodline characteristics times extreme body strengthening created due to inherent talent, cannot be viewed by other zombies. Bloodline characteristics times abnormal calmness created due to inherent talent, cannot be viewed by other zombies. Bloodline characteristics times abnormal rage created due to inherent talent, cannot be viewed by other zombies. Inherent talent of bloodline, creation. Strength, 465. Agility, 465. Stamina, 465. Recently, Shen Qing's bloodline awakening value has successfully reached 31%. The contribution to this was the executioner battle when the dungeon in Area 65 fell. There is also a subsequent battle with the zombie leader Mo Wudi, as well as the scattered battles encountered on the way to Area 1. Overall, Shen Qing's bloodline awakening value is not slow to increase. But the main reason is that the enemies Shen Qing faces now are generally stronger than himself. It is an extreme battle that transcends levels. As Hongyu said at the beginning, the speed at which the zombie's awakening value increases begins with the difficulty of the battle itself, and is closely related to the degree of overload of the body. Shen Qing's ability to improve as fast as he is now is entirely due to constant extreme fighting. Take today's noon as an example. Red Moon and the others encountered 5 high-level executors. Normally, it would be absolutely easy for Shen Qing and a Mastiff to deal with one. But in order to increase the bloodline awakening value, Shen Qing did not ask the Mastiff to help. Instead, she relied on her own strength to get one. Certainly, injuries are inevitable. Fortunately, the self-healing increase of the ultimate body strengthening, along with the increase of Shen Qing's awakening value, the effect is also more significant. At that time, Bai Wuhua said so. Xiao Qingzi is not a zombie at all. He's so perverted. It's the first time I've seen one with such an increase in awakening value. 30% bloodline awakening value, go and attack the high-level executor. Please become a zombie. Shen Qing's awakening value increases very quickly indeed. However, Shen Qing herself felt that it was still too slow. Reason, very simple. Whether it's Mo Wudi or the mysterious old zombie, or Mio or Tiantian. Even if it's Chi-Chi, their strength is too terrifying. Under the oppression of these zombies, no matter how much Shen Qing improves, she only feels that she is weak, and too weak. I still remember the time when the mysterious old zombie slapped me and shattered all the bones in my body. That was the first time Shen Qing felt powerless and irresistible. Shen Qing can be sure every time she recalls that day. If that mysterious old zombie really wanted to kill him, he would even use all the creations he could use. He Shen Qing could not escape death. The stronger the enemy he encounters, the stronger Shen Qing's desire to become stronger will become. Then, That's why he behaves like this now. Creation Zone 77 Zombie Army Zhongsan Pass. Creation Zombie Army Zhu Hongliang's Pass for Area 77. Creation Zone 77 Zombie Army Ji Yuan Pass. Creation Zombie Army Bai Feng Pass in Area 77. Creation Zombie Army Field Meow Meow Pass for Area 77. Create all 5 passes in one go. For Shen Qing, no matter how many of these dead things he creates, there will be no side effects. As for the names of these 5 zombies, it was the list of missing persons that Hongyu had obtained from the zombie army in District 77. And then selected from them. Moreover, the name is right, and so is the zombie military zone. The zombies are missing again. Finally, Shen Qing replaced them with their current corresponding photos while creating, and everything was done. Zhongsan is Mu Langtu. Zhu Hongliang is Bai Wuhua. Bai Feng is Shen Qing. Ji Yuan is the Red Moon. Tian Miao Miao is Gao Xiaoxiao. It didn't take long. Shen Qing came to Hongyu with 5 passes and handed them to the corresponding people. Bai Wuhua took a look and said, I'm a bullfrog. Xiao Qingzi, your skills are simply amazing. Even though she knew Tiantian wouldn't get too close to them, she could still sail with caution. While the zombies were talking, they tried their best not to mention the word creation. Hongyu held her pass and nodded slightly, that should be no problem. After finishing her words, Hongyu warned her again, don't think I'm nagging, it's the same as before. Remember, from the moment we enter Zone 1, we must know a few things. First, try not to use bloodline characteristics as much as possible. Second, always remember your name. It's best to forget all our previous names. Third, after dealing with the previous high-level quartz crystal veins, we will gather them in one area as low-key as possible. I will make further plans later. Bai Wuhua waved her hand indifferently. Hey, Sister Hong. We know. Please stop nagging me. You've said it at least dozens of times along the way. Gao Xiaoxiao, Mu Bengtu and Shen Qing didn't speak. Hongyu sighed and said, there is no way, going deep into the first area is very risky. You have to be careful and careful when you're done. Okay, everyone, let's have a rest. We will enter Area 1 late at night. The words fell. Hongyu grabbed Shen Qing and walked to the side. Bai Wuhua was on the side and heckled. Oh, Sister Hong, you can't bear it anymore. Do you want Xiao Qingzi to eat it in one breath? Hongyu, get out. Bai Wuhua. Okay, it didn't take long. Hongyu and Shen Qing are alone together. Hongyu then looked around and said, Shen Qing, ask her, what will she do after we enter the first area? It was at this time that Shen Qing finally remembered. Hongyu and other zombies entered the area. I'm afraid Tiantian is dreaming a little bit when she wants to come in. However, before Shen Qing could speak, Tiantian's childish and bossy voice came out. You don't need to worry about my affairs. It's just one area, you can enter with your eyes closed. Can you enter with your eyes closed? Blow it. Shen Qing couldn't help but retort. At the same time as he finished speaking, a card flew over at high speed not far away. Shen Qing took it and took a look. The pupils suddenly expanded, and the entire zombie was stunned on the spot. Exclusive pass for Zone 1. Name, Liang Tiantian. Affiliated unit, Zone 1 Zombie Army. Position, Deputy Captain of the 35th Squadron of the Zone 1 Zombie Army. Closing square bracket. Shen Qing. Haha, are you dumbfounded? A sweet voice came from the depths of the jungle. I told you, if you want to enter the first area, you can do so with your eyes closed. Instead of worrying about me, it's better to worry about yourself. I'm afraid those passes you forged are enough. Tiantian didn't know that the pass created by Shen Qing was not a forgery, but more real than real. If he knew, it would probably be Tiantian's turn to be shocked. Shen Qing threw the pass in the direction it came from, not caring whether the other party could catch it or not. After throwing it away, he said directly to Hongyu, Sister Hong, if that's the case, there's nothing to worry about. Get ready, let's enter Area 1. A district. This is a very magical dungeon, and it is also an area that makes zombies very emotional. Above the ladder of life in the normal dungeon. Generally, zombie armies are stationed for protection. It is also at the center of the zombie army, mainly to prevent the dungeon from falling. But District 1 is different. The top of the ladder of life in Area 1 is also under the protection of the zombie army. But its location is in the center of a huge city. Good. It's the city. A city even bigger than the underground city in Area 65. A city on the ground has never appeared before since the zombie virus broke out and mankind was wiped out for nearly 500 years. Because of the danger of the above-ground world and the artificial intelligence that threatens zombies all the time. If the above-ground cities are not safe, even if they are built, they will be attacked by enforcers or even fissioners soon. So, there are 197 underground cities in the world, and there are no above-ground cities in their areas. Only one area. Late at night, the entrance to the above-ground city in District 1. 5 figures wearing zombie army combat uniforms were walking towards this side. If any zombies are more careful, they will surely find a blood-red moon behind these combat uniforms. Pass, a zombie soldier said coldly in front of the city gate. Another zombie army stared at Shen Qing and other zombies warily. Even though they were just 2 city defenders, their strength was unfathomable. Shen Qing could only judge it from the aura exuded by the vigilant zombie. The other party is stronger than Huang Mo. Is this District 1? Closing square bracket. How terrifying. Closing square bracket. Shen Qing sighed secretly and handed his pass to the other party. The same goes for Bai Wuhua and the others. Not a moment later. The 2 zombie soldiers completed the verification, but they looked at Shen Qing a little strangely. One of them suddenly said, "Are you all from Area 77? Hongyu." "Yes, middle-aged zombie. I heard that the commander of District 77 and hundreds of zombie troops disappeared, you." Hongyu replied unhurriedly. "Yes, we were attacking the wanted Hongyu and other zombies, but they were counter-attacked by the other party. There is a very powerful zombie among the opponents. Commander Huang, Commander Mo, Commander Li, and Commander Zhao are all dead. We didn't dare to go back to Area 77 to escape for our lives. We were afraid that the zombies would target Area 77 after killing the commander, so we fled towards Area 1. Hongyu said it clearly and sounded very true. Coupled with the embarrassment that they were specially dressed for, the 2 zombie soldiers could not find any flaws for a while. I thought that with Hongyu's answer, the other party would let them in. The next second, the zombie suddenly returned the 5 passes to Hongyu, and waved his hand, "You go. That adult has gone to Area 77 in person. You can go back now." Hongyu was stunned for a moment, pretending to be surprised. "Ah. That adult, you said it was the adult from District 1. The zombie army was obviously proud, and nodded with a slight hum, "Yes. So, the survivors should go back to Area 77. Hongyu was in a dilemma, but she had to turn around after taking the pass. However, it's in this dilemma. A figure walked over in a swaggering manner. The zombie was less than 1 meter tall. She looks sweet and cute, but walks like a tiger. She wears a special zombie combat uniform, and her figure is not fully developed, but she gives people an inexplicable attraction. Hongyu and other zombies couldn't help but take a second look. But when Shen Qing saw the zombie, his face looked as if he had eaten a landmine. What kind of plane is she doing? Closing square bracket. I saw. Tiantian walked up to the 2 zombie armies carelessly, took her pass, and at the same time turned to look at Shen Qing curiously. Are you zombies from Area 77? Shen Qing didn't understand what Tiantian was doing, but he nodded obediently and replied, "Yes." Tiantian, did you participate in the mission to encircle and suppress the killing machine? Shen Qing, like. Tiantian nodded slightly and waved her hand. Come in with me, I just have something to ask you. All of a sudden, the 2 zombie armies guarding the city were in a bit of a dilemma. Captain Liang, isn't this inappropriate? Hearing this, Tiantian's eyebrows suddenly stood up, and her voice couldn't help but raise a few decibels. Huh? What did you say? When have I ever needed your guidance when doing something? Zombie guarding the city. Mainly, they are from Area 77, and they should be in charge of their own area now. It's hard for us to let them into the city. After all, there is no reason. Their level is not Apex level, and they do not have the authority to enter the first area at will. Tiantian frowned. I don't have one. The zombies guarding the city suddenly straightened their waists. Of course you do, you are the vice captain of Team 35. Tiantian tilted her head slightly and very cautiously whispered in the ear of the zombie guarding the city, let me tell you the truth. I heard that Killing Machine and the others discovered a high-level corpse crystal vein with extremely high yield. I think since these zombies participated in that operation, they must know something about it. Well, you know everything else, right? As soon as these words came out, the zombies guarding the city suddenly felt like a mirror. Good guy. Closing square bracket. Team Liang is eyeing the high-level corpse crystal mine. Closing square bracket. However, based on what the city defending zombies knew about Team 35's style, this kind of thing is really not uncommon. Ever since, the zombie guarding the city bit his mouth and said, "That's it, Captain Liang, you can guarantee it. After all, if there are no problems, we can't even give that guy the ball." Tiantian nodded. "Okay, that's it, it's decided. You can find me later, and I will make a letter for you." The zombies guarding the city took a breath, and at the same time let Shen Qing and other zombies go. "Okay, I'll find you later." Ever since, they saw Shen Qing, Hongyu and other zombies following behind with confused expressions. In the front, Tiantian walked struttingly into the city above ground like an old man. Waited for Hongyu and the others to enter Area 1 for a while. Shen Qing couldn't help but ask directly, "Are you really the deputy captain of the team in District 1? Tiantian looked back at Shen Qing as if she were an idiot. "Didn't you see the pass before?" "Shen Qing, I thought it was fake. You're so big." Tiantian put a big chestnut mark on Shen Qing's forehead. "I'm the real deputy captain of the District 1 team." Said. Tiantian narrowed her eyes slightly again, smiled and said, "How is it? Do you want to surrender at my sister's feet? My sister treats her brother very well." "Shen Qing, do you agree?" Hear the words. Tiantian's neck suddenly shrank. "Get out. I'm just pretending to be cool. Will you die if you don't try to cause trouble?" A district above ground city. Although it is not as prosperous as the underground city in Area 1. But it is definitely more lively than the underground city in Area 65. Even late at night, the nightlife in cities above ground is colorful. Along the way, Bai Wuhua was almost drooling as he watched, 6 words echoing in his head all the time. "I want to live a life of luxury." Tiantian walks forward. Shen Qing waited for the zombies to follow. Walk all the way towards the city center. On the way, Hongyu leaned forward and asked softly, "Shen Qing, is she that Tiantian?" Shen Qing nodded. "Yes. I didn't expect that this guy is really the deputy captain of the zombie army team in District 1. Besides, judging from the attitude of the zombies guarding the city just now, I'm afraid her weight as deputy captain is not light." Hongyu smacked her lips. "These zombies are really powerful." Shen Qing. "Who says otherwise? I think even if the male zombie tells me now that he is Long Qianyang, maybe I won't be surprised." While talking, Tiantian also brought Shen Qing and other zombies to the family courtyard in the core area above ground. Pushing open the door of a large stone house, he said sweetly, "Go in." Shen Qing, Hongyu and other zombies walked in silently. At the same time, Tiantian closed its doors at the end. After waiting for the door to close, Tiantian snorted and said, "Logically speaking, I shouldn't help you. If Mio knew about this, I'm afraid she would also scold me, so." Tiantian stopped talking and said to Shen Qing in a warning tone, "Keep your mouth tighter." Shen Qing shrugged. "I understand, Captain Liang." Tiantian, "Get out of here." "Okay, let's rest here today. The ladder of life will not be opened at night." Tiantian pointed to a room inside and said, "I will take you to the next area tomorrow morning. But I'd like to remind you in advance that once I get to the dungeon in Area 1, I won't care about other things. Except for Shen Qing, even if the other zombies die, I will not take action again." Hongyu bowed gratefully. "Thank you." Tiantian waved her hand indifferently. "Go and have a rest." After finishing her sentence, she also walked into another room. Shen Qing and Hongyu looked at each other, and 5 zombies entered another room. The next day, early morning, Zone 1 Underground City Zombie Army Training Camp. Murong Tian looked at the team in front of him. Every young zombie had a sleepy look on his face. Only Tang Ling still looks like an iceberg, with vertical and even meticulous hair. Nodding slightly, Murong Tian said, "Are you sleepy? But it doesn't matter, because you will all be very energetic later." The words fell. He waved his hand directly. "Follow me." The ladder of life. Murong Tian did not hesitate at all. After talking to the guards, he led the group of young zombies to the ladder of life. Looking at the towering ladder of life, it is descending little by little from the top. Every young zombie knows in their heart that their nightmare may begin on the ladder of life. Click, falling down the ladder of life. The iron door opened and 6 zombies walked out. When Murong Tian saw the leader of the zombies, he couldn't help but be slightly startled. Then, a hint of surprise appeared on his face. Tiantian, when did you come back? Good. At this time, it was Tiantian, Shen Qing, Hongyu and other zombies who came out of the ladder of life. Tiantian was also a little surprised, and then a bright smile broke out at the corner of her mouth. Oh, you are so lucky. I just came back and met you, a sissy. Little Emperor, it's been so long since I last saw you, you're a idiot. Murong Tian, lying down in Tiantian's ear, she whispered, Hey, Tiantian, can you save some face for me? Didn't you see that I brought so many young people? I am a serious instructor now. Tiantian suddenly understood and said oh twice in succession. Okay, little Emperor, you are not a girl, you are a pure man. You can learn from the sun and the moon. PFF, there was a zombie behind him who couldn't help laughing. After all, Tiantian's appearance is really mean. Not only that, Murong Tian, who was very serious and oppressive just now, is now so depressed that his face has black lines. No one can bear this kind of thing. When Murong Tian heard the sound, he suddenly turned his head, his face darkened with horror. Who is laughing? Stand up for me and deal with the middle-level executor alone later. As soon as these words came out, all the young zombies shut up. For a moment, they behaved like Shugo who had just been taught a lesson. Murong Tian smiled with satisfaction before turning around again. At the same time, his eyes fell on Shen Qing and the others. Tiantian, are they? She said sweetly. They are from Area 77, and they are survivors of the operation to suppress the killing machines. I tricked them into telling them something, and then settled them in the underground city. Murong Tian didn't need to explain, he already understood everything with just one sentence from Tiantian. That high-level corpse crystal mine. Tiantian chuckled. He who knows me is the little emperor. Okay, then you can take them with you. Today I will take these broths to increase their awakening value. Murong Tian looked helpless. Among these broths, I only have 1 or 2 that I like. Other rotten wood cannot be carved. After finishing his words, Murong Tian seemed to have thought of something and added, oh, by the way, when you bring people from Area 77 to the dungeon, don't forget to record it. Otherwise, Lao Long will have to curse him again when he comes back. Tiantian, okay, I got it. Go and do your work. The 2 of them talked quickly. Not long after, they each led their own zombies away. However, just as the 2 sides passed each other, Shen Qing noticed a familiar figure among the zombies. Immediately, my heart felt like it was being held tightly. Tang Ling, closing square bracket. At this time, Tang Ling looked indifferent and didn't even look at Shen Qing as he followed Murong Tian. Even the funny Tiantian and the name Tiantian called Murong Tian just now were all things she had never noticed before. But at the moment when 2 groups of zombies passed each other, Shen Qing looked at Tang Ling in surprise. Tang Ling seemed to feel something, and suddenly looked at him. For a while, eyes facing each other, Tang Ling's heart seemed to be tightly grasped by something, and his beautiful eyebrows could not help but frown slightly. What happened? Closing square bracket. Why did I feel so strange when I saw that zombie? Closing square bracket. Shen Qing was still looking at Tang Ling. But Tang Ling's brows furrowed deeper and deeper. As a result, Hongyu discovered Tang Ling's existence, and her face showed a moment of surprise. But after a moment it was back to normal. Shen Qing is still watching. Tang Ling frowned even more, and suddenly she asked, what are you looking at? Shen Qing was stunned. She didn't expect that one day that clingy man's tone would be so cold. He was almost in a daze instinctively, but he came back to his senses in a moment. Shen Qing suppressed the emotions in her heart, scratched her head in embarrassment and said with a smile, well, it's nothing, I just think you look pretty. Tang Ling, get out. Shen Qing shrank her neck and quickly followed Tiantian. At this time, Murong Tian also came over with doubts. What's wrong, Tang Ling? I don't like people staring at me. Murong Tian chuckled. This is a good thing. I like your character more and more. Okay, let's go. Today's time is tight and the tasks are heavy. I hope to increase your awakening value in the shortest possible time. Murong Tian led the team away again. But he didn't notice that Tang Ling had reached the end of the team. She looked back almost subconsciously. Looking at the very strange zombie, Tang Ling felt even more uncomfortable, and even his breathing was a little heavy. What happened? Closing square bracket. What's wrong with me? Closing square bracket. Why? I saw the shadow of Qing on him. Closing square bracket. Area 1 Underground City. The ladder of life slowly rises. Bai Wuhua pushed Shen Qing with her arm and said, "Hey, Xiao Qingzi, is that female zombie your little lover?" Shen Qing coughed twice. "What Shen Qing? My name is Bai Feng." After realizing it, Bai Wuhua hurriedly changed his words. Yes, Bai Feng. Look at my memory. Bai Feng, I have to say, your little lover is really good looking. I took a look just now. As expected, it has apex level bloodline and body enhancement. It is the strongest among the young zombies. For such an outstanding female zombie and being so beautiful, maybe a male zombie can do it. Shen Qing's face was dark. If there is, I will kill him. There was a grunt. Bai Wuhua swallowed subconsciously. He noticed that the murderous intention in Shen Qing was very real and even a little surging. It is clear, when Shen Qing mentioned this matter, he became murderous. Bai Wuhua smiled awkwardly. Don't be so serious, I was just joking. Tiantian also looked back in surprise. Bai Feng, are you so murderous? What, do you want to bloodbath an area? Shen Qing. The angry mood just now disappeared for a moment. This Tiantian is so cute, why is she so funny? Closing square bracket. But, after what Bai Wuhua said just now, Shen Qing still kept an eye on it. I decided to take the time to pay more attention to that girl Tang Ling after I stabilized in the first area. Just in case one day this girl was really kidnapped. Wouldn't he have to cry? Area 1 Underground City. Foreign Registration Office. Tiantian recorded the information about Hongyu, Shen Qing and other zombies here. Then he took them to the core city area. On the way, Tiantian said lazily, "Okay, I will withdraw after I bring you to the core city area. In the dungeon in Area 1, as long as you are careful, there is almost no danger without exposing your identity. Oh, by the way, I'll take over that high-level quartz crystal vein. 37 points. You 3 and I'm 7, are you okay with that?" When Hongyu heard this, she didn't dare to mention it even if she had an opinion in her heart. He could only nod his head and say, "Thank you." As for why, very simple. Thank God if the opponent can leave them a 3-point advantage. Even if Tiantian takes it all, she can't say no. As the saying goes, people under the eaves have to bow their heads. Wait until you reach the core city area. Tiantian left, and Bai Wuhua couldn't help but said angrily, "Ah, what kind of zombie? It's more robbery than robbery. Lao Chi only takes 44% at most. This guy is better. He only takes 70% when he opens his mouth." Hongyu pressed her hand and signaled Bai Wuhua to speak softer. "Okay. We are in the first area now. It is not yet certain when it will be safe outside. 30% is already very good. At least we don't have to worry about mining, transportation, sales, etc. You can get nearly 300 million by doing nothing." After Hongyu said this, Bai Wuhua also shut up. Shen Qing looked at Tiantian's leaving direction and felt a little complicated. Tiantian's move was undoubtedly helping them, even though Tiantian took away 70% of the high-level quartz crystal veins. But in fact, it is just as Hongyu said. Mining is not difficult, but transporting and selling it is a big problem. Before Tiantian, the high-level quartz crystals obtained by Shen Qing and the others were all used by Bai Wuhua to fight landlords. It can be seen that without the cooperation of the dungeon, these high-level quartz crystals cannot be digested at all. Now let's talk about transportation. Area 1 and Area 77 are far apart. The cost of transportation is destined to be high, and it is not an exaggeration to say that it can consume 10% of the entire high-level quartz crystal vein. Calculate it, add risks and so on. It would be nice to have 4 or 5 achievements in Tiantian's hands. Think about it this way. Not only did Shen Qing and the others not have to do anything, they were able to obtain a large amount of wealth from Tiantian outside in the first district. Shen Qing said that the other party was not helping them, but Shen Qing didn't believe it. After all, without Tiantian, Shen Qing and the others would probably have to worry about their living expenses after finishing the high-level corpse crystals in their hands. Lao Mu naturally noticed this, and immediately patted Shen Qing on the shoulder and said, "That female zombie is not bad." Shen Qing nodded. "He just has a weird temper." Hongyu waved her hand and motioned for everyone to gather around. "If we are selling high-level corpse crystals, we cannot go directly to the exchange office. The procedures required there are more cumbersome. There are a total of 10,000 pieces of high-level quartz crystal here. The 5 of us split up and look for merchants in the city who process the quartz crystal. With a small amount of high-level quartz crystals, they don't need to go through any formalities and they can digest it. 10,000 high-level quartz crystals. It turns out that's not all they mined. The reason why there is only 10,000 yuan is mainly because the quartz crystal is not large in size, but its weight is not small. It was already a miracle that he could bring 10,000 high-level quartz crystals with him while rushing to Area 1. Soon, each zombie carries 2,000 high-level quartz crystals. Just like that, they split up and searched for a shop that processed quartz crystals in the core city. Area 1 Underground City. Core Urban Area. South. The dungeon in Area 1 is really big. The entire core urban area is divided into 4 small areas: east, south, west and north. Each small area is almost larger than the entire Area 65 underground city. It can be seen from this. The core city area plus the outer city area, the ladder of life, and the mine. This shows just how big the underground city in Area 1 is. South. Inside a poorly decorated shop. An old zombie with gray hair and at least 100 years old was lying on the instrument, constantly studying the purification of quartz crystals. Soon, click. The quartz crystal on the instrument shattered. The old zombie cursed with a distressed look on his face. Broken again. Is this purification technology so difficult to do? I really don't know how the zombie army came up with the purification technology. The same goes for that guy Lao Ma. Do you want me to study the high-level purification technology that only the zombie army can do? It's better to just kill me. Looking at the only 2 pieces of high-level quartz crystal ore left on the table, the old zombie had a look of pain on his face. This thing is so expensive. However, just at this time, the shop door was pushed open and a jingling sound was heard at the same time. Shen Qing walked in from the door. He first looked around to make sure there were no other zombie customers in the store, and then walked to the counter. When he saw what the old zombie was planning, he couldn't help but be stunned. Are you purifying? The so-called purification actually means extracting the zombie energy from the quartz crystal ore. It's said to be easy, but actually it's difficult. It is not difficult to purify zombie crystals at the elementary and middle levels. Basically, zombies with a little research can come up with it. But the purification technology of high-level quartz crystal ore. But only the zombie army research department has it. When the old zombie heard this, he didn't even raise his head. Little brat, if you don't have anything to do, get out of here. I'm annoying you, old man. Be careful, I'll beat you up. Shen Qing looked at the only piece of high-level quartz crystal ore left on the work table, and couldn't help but feel happy. Boss, do you want high-level quartz crystal ore? The old zombie still didn't raise his head. Gangonggong, the kid's hair isn't even combed, so what are you bragging about? High-level quartz crystal ore, have you seen what it is? Click. Just as the old zombie was talking, another crisp sound came out. Immediately afterwards, the old zombie jumped up from behind the work table. Shen Qing glared angrily and yelled, "Boy, you've caused such a big trouble. You smashed my high-level quartz crystal ore. What do you think I should do? Ask your adults to come over and compensate me. 500 apiece." Shen Qing was stunned. Isn't the normal price 100? The old zombie frowned and said angrily, "You also know, that's the normal price. Old man, the price here is 500 apiece. Do you think high-level quartz crystal ore is so good? I don't care, you compensate me, otherwise you won't be able to leave today." Obviously, this old scoundrel is blackmailing zombies. As for Shen Qing, he almost laughed out loud. Seeing the old zombie acting like a rogue, Shen Qing felt a little angry and funny. Then, he casually took out a high-level quartz crystal ore and threw it to the opponent. No, I'll compensate you. This time, it was the old zombie's turn to be dumbfounded. He stared blankly at the ore in his hand, rubbed his eyes, and knocked on his head. Follow closely. Oh my God, I saw a ghost today. The hairy boy took out the high-level quartz crystal ore. What happened to this world? The words fell. The old zombie narrowed his eyes again, curiously approached Shen Qing and said, "Young man, you high-level quartz crystal." Shen Qing is a little funny. The boy who didn't even have full hair before is now a boy again. Shen Qing, do you want high-level quartz crystal ore? The old zombie clasped his hands together, rubbed them constantly, squinted his eyes and said with a sly look on his face, "How many do you have?" Shen Qing, except for what I just gave you, I still have 1,999 yuan in hand. Old zombie. Their eyes met, and at this moment, the atmosphere was a bit anomaly. And this silence lasted for more than a minute. It was only when the old zombie suddenly screamed that the anomaly's tranquility was broken. I saw the old zombie grabbing his not too thin white hair with both hands and saying with a crazy look on his face, "What did you say? 1,999 yuan. What the hell?" As if he noticed that he was swearing again, the old zombie quickly coughed and changed his words, "What, I'm excited. Young man, take out the ore and let me take a look. If you really have 1,999 yuan, I will take care of it all." Shen Qing did not hesitate and threw all the high-level quartz crystal ores he had prepared on the counter in one breath. Nearly 2,000 pieces of quartz crystal ore is not a small amount. Although the high-level quartz crystal ore is not large, it is not too small either. With such a large amount, it is almost half a sack. At this time, the old zombie finally understood what was in the sack that Shen Qing was carrying just now. "I'm a good boy." The old zombie opened the sack and took a look, and suddenly his eyes were filled with stars. When have I ever seen so many high-level quartz crystals? Under normal circumstances, all this stuff would have been robbed by the zombie army. How could so much fall into my hands? Am I lucky today? While muttering to himself, the old zombie beamed with joy. At the same time, he reluctantly looked away and looked at Shen Qing. "Young man, the market price is 100 per piece. Don't tell me that I'm ungrateful. I won't let you pay for the piece that was broken just now. A total of 2,000 yuan, a fixed price of 200,000 yuan." Said. The old zombie planned to go back to the counter to withdraw money. For business zombies like them, there is always no shortage of money. Just when the old zombie turned around, Shen Qing suddenly spoke up and stopped him. Shen Qing waved his hand to the old zombie and said righteously, "Boss, did you make a miscalculation? 500 for one piece. 1 million for 2,000 yuan. The old zombie suddenly became furious. "Boy, are you asking for a ridiculous price?" Shen Qing was confused. "No, right. Didn't you just say that it's not normal here, so one piece is 500? Old zombie. A smile that was uglier than crying appeared on his face, and the old zombie said flatteringly, "Hey, young man, you also know that those were the old man's angry words from me just now. Don't take it seriously. If so, I'll give you some more. 250,000. How many beautiful girls can you find with an extra 50,000? Shen Qing shook his head. "Let's do this. Listen to me. One piece is 500, and the previous piece is my compensation to you, so 1,999 yuan is 999,500. I'll give you a zero and charge you 990,000 yuan. You see how considerate I am of zombies. If I erase a zero, I will erase nearly 10,000. Old zombie. He knew that Shen Qing was complaining about his blackmailing about zombies before. But in the final analysis, the old zombie is at fault for this kind of thing. In the end, I can only stay with a smiling face. Old zombie. Young man, can you please spare the zombies? Everyone take a step back. Business can be done easily. Otherwise, if you put the high-level quartz crystal in the exchange office, it would really only be worth 200,000. I thought that once I said this, Shen Qing would definitely agree even if he was a fool. But something that the old zombie didn't expect happened. I saw. Shen Qing picked up the sack on the counter, waved his hand and turned around to leave. Okay, I'll ask other stores. I think there are so many high-level quartz crystals, and other stores that process quartz crystals should be happy to charge high prices. Old zombie. He no longer knew how many times he was rendered speechless by Shen Qing. It is said that there is no business without treachery. But the old zombie always feels that he is not a profiteer. The real profiteer is the person opposite him. Ahem. After clearing his throat, the old zombie quickly stepped forward to hold Shen Qing, and said with a smile, "Well, tell me the real price, let's stop joking. I apologize to you for what happened just now." After saying that, the old zombie pointed in the direction of the workbench and continued with a bitter look on his face. "As you saw just now, I am now trying to purify high-level quartz crystal ore technology. There are a lot of wasted high-level quartz crystals. If the last one is not released, I will really lose it. So, just because I'm old, alone, and miserable, can you help me?" After saying this, the old zombie looked expectant. Shen Qing also knew that his goal was achieved. Then, the next step is to actually negotiate the price. There are two main reasons why I did what I did just now. First, Shen Qing was indeed dissatisfied with the old zombie's blackmailing behavior against him, so he waited for an opportunity to retaliate accordingly. Second, nowadays, they only have so much high-level quartz crystal ore in their hands, so it would be best if they can exchange it for a higher price. 250,000. Shen Qing felt that it was still too low, so he came to try to maximize the benefits as much as possible. With a pretended look on his face, Shen Qing finally sighed. He patted the old zombie on the shoulder and said, "I just see that you are older, so it's not easy for you to know. Let's do this, 500,000 in one breath. As long as it works. If it doesn't work, I'll find another store." 500,000. Hiss, the old zombie gasped with pain on his face. This price is already 2.5 times higher than the normal purchase price at the exchange office. If it weren't for the exchange office's monopoly on high-grade quartz crystal ore, it would be too powerful. I'm afraid, the old zombie will never agree to this price. But this is what Shen Qing grasped. He believed that the old man would never refuse. Really, the old zombie hesitated for a while, then finally felt hard, gritted his teeth, and agreed. "Okay, even if the old man pays some price for what I just did." "Young man, wait until I get you some money," said. The old zombie returned to the counter to withdraw money, and at the same time said to Shen Qing, "Young man, this loss should be a lesson for me, and I can also make a friend. In the future, if you still have high-grade quartz crystal ore, you can come to me directly. The price will definitely be higher than at the exchange office. Of course, the high-level quartz crystal ore I'm talking about is not limited to high-level quartz crystal ore. I also accept the old man from apex level." While talking, the old zombie also took out 500,000 in cash and put it in a small sack and handed it to Shen Qing. After taking the money, Shen Qing smiled with satisfaction. "Okay, if there is another problem in the future, I will still look for you." After saying these words, he walked directly towards the door. However, just at this time, behind him, the old zombie's hesitant voice suddenly came. "Young man, wait, there is something that will bring huge benefits. I wonder if you are interested in hearing about it." Huge gains. When Shen Qing heard these 4 words, Shen Qing had already refused. "Sorry, I'm just a junior bloodline zombie with no characteristics yet, so I'm not interested in this kind of thing." Shen Qing is not stupid. He met the old zombie for the first time, and even cheated him out of 300,000 yuan. Can the other party be so kind as to share the news about huge profits? As the saying goes, if something goes wrong, there must be a monster, pie in the sky, either a conspiracy or a trap. Although Shen Qing is not a zombie, he still has the necessary judgment. So, after refusing, he left the store directly. However, Shen Qing just left. The simple shop fell into silence again. The old zombie let out a long sigh. "Alas, it seems that I made a mistake in my judgment. Forget it, if there is a chance in the future, let's find a way to ask those zombie armies for help. It's a pity that the apex level quartz crystal mine is mine. If the zombie army starts, I'm destined not to see even a hair." Area 1 Underground City. Core Urban Area. On the tea house in the central area. Shen Qing, Hongyu and 5 other zombies gathered together. "Hongyu, tell me, what price did each sell for?" Bai Wuhua was the first to report. He patted his chest very proudly and said, as soon as I took action, Lao Zhu, the other boss, immediately became intimidated. They didn't even ask me why I didn't go to the exchange office. They exchanged it for me at the original price on the spot. And he even dragged me around and told me that if I ever get high-level quartz crystal ore in the future, I must remember to find him. Bai Wuhua raised his eyebrows and said, "How's it going?" Lao Zhu, "I'm pretty good, right?" Lao Zhu, of course he is talking about Zhu Hongliang, Lao Bai's identity in Area 77. Hongyu did not answer, but focused her gaze on Lao Mu and Gao Xiaoxiao. Gao Xiaoxiao, my situation is similar to Lao Ju's, and I sold it at a normal price. Lao Mu, 250,000. Still didn't say much, but Hongyu and the other zombies couldn't help but take a second look. 250,000. The price is actually 50,000 higher than the price at the normal exchange office. It doesn't sound like much, but 50,000 yuan is nearly 4 years' income for a normal dungeon-level zombie. And still not eating or drinking. Hongyu nodded. Not bad. Lao Zhong's price this time was higher than mine. My price is 230,000. Hongyu finally turned her attention to Shen Qing. Bai Feng, what about you? What's the price? Shen Qing pretended to be mysterious and hissed at the zombies. Don't make any noise, I sell slightly more than you. Bai Wuhua got excited and approached Shen Qing and asked directly, Dig Trough, Zhao King Xiaofengxi, can you please stop doing this to titillate your appetite? Tell me, how much did you sell? Shen Qing smiled faintly and held out 5 fingers. 500,000. Bai Wuhua, Gao Xiaoxiao. Oh my god. Lao Mu and Hongyu gasped at the same time. Hongyu asked in confusion, what's going on? Why do you pay so much premium? 500,000. This is more than twice the price at the exchange office. Shen Qing shrugged. I met a good zombie, he is very generous. Bai Wuhua, I believe you are a ghost. Maybe you had an affair with that zombie. Shen Qing. After a brief shock, all the zombies agreed to hand over their money to Hongyu. 10,000 pieces of high-level quartz crystal ore. The total selling price is 1.38 million. At this moment, Hongyu and the others suddenly became millionaires. Every zombie had an excited smile on their face. Bai Wuhua even came closer to Hongyu and carefully poked Hongyu's arm with her finger. Hey hey hey. Sister Hong, give me some money, I want to live a life of luxury. Gao Xiaoxiao, Lao Mu, Shen Qing, Hongyu. The issue of selling high-level quartz crystal ore has been solved. Now, Hongyu's other priority is to find a place to live in the first district. After all, they are foreign zombies. There are no allocated houses in the dungeon, so you can only buy them yourself. There are 3 types of housing in the underground city in Area 1. First, the most common outer city housing is the slums in the outer city of District 65. The houses are simple but still habitable. The price is not high either. In District 1, a house in the outer city that can accommodate their 5 zombies costs 10,000 yuan. For the current Hongyu and the others, it is a drop in the bucket. Second, houses in core urban areas. The price is much more expensive than in the outer city, but the environment is much better. Eating, entertaining, working, etc. are more convenient. A house that can still accommodate 5 zombies would cost about 300,000. It is 30 times more expensive than the outer city. But this 30 times is worth the money. Regardless of the overall environment of the house, we focus on the development of the core city and the security of the core city. It is not comparable to the outer city at all. Hongyu and the others' plan is to open a store in the core city after they settle down. At least they can stabilize in the short term, waiting until Long Qianyang stops looking for them, and they can leave the first area again. So, houses in core urban areas are the first choice, even though the price is much more expensive. Third, naturally, it is the zombie military home. This is a no-brainer, because only by joining the zombie army in District 1 can their relatives have the right to live in the zombie army family home. Hongyu and the others can't find Tiantian, so let her get one, right? Finally, Hongyu has finalized the purchase of a house in the core urban area. Hongyu did not leave this matter to anyone else, but did it herself. After giving Shen Qing and the others 10,000 yuan for each zombie, Hongyu left first. Bai Wuhua held the 10,000 yuan in his hand and waved to Shen Qing and the others with a smile. Well, brothers, I will withdraw first. Lao Tzu, I want to live a happy life. Then, the white 5 flowers really stay. Gao Xiaoxiao wanted to take a good tour of the dungeon in Area 1. After all, this is the most prosperous of the 197 underground cities in the world. Not long after, she left too. Only 2 zombies, Shen Qing and Lao Mu, were left. Lao Mu, do you have any plans? Shen Qing, not yet, but I plan to visit the above-ground city. Let's see if there is any way to increase my awakening value. Lao Mu extended a thumbs up and said, Bull. If Lao Bai and the others worked so hard for you, their strength would have exceeded this. After finishing speaking, Lao Mu hesitated for a moment, and finally said, that Bai Feng, that incident before. Shen Qing was stunned, and then recalled that he had promised Lao Mu to help him create combat-type bloodline characteristics. He smiled awkwardly and nodded. When Sister Hong finishes the house, I'll help you get one tonight. After receiving this answer, Lao Mu's face lit up with joy. And Shen Qing also said goodbye and walked towards the ladder of life in Area 1. On the way, Shen Qing said to the air, Are you still there? It didn't take long for the words to fall. A figure was already following Shen Qing. Tiantian picked her ears with a bored look on her face. What are you going to do? Shen Qing, go to the city above ground and see if you can increase your awakening value. Tiantian was stunned, as if she didn't expect Shen Qing to work so hard. After a moment, she nodded and suggested, the zombie beast is no longer satisfied with your strength. Mastiff dogs are special and stay outside all the time. Let's do this, I'll take you out of the city and find an enforcer camp to try the waters. Hear the words, Shen Qing's heart couldn't help but tighten. Executor camp, closing square bracket. This is a word that Shen Qing has only heard of but has never encountered. And in the introduction of the school, executor camp. That's one extremely dangerous place, a district above ground city. Leaving the city, he sneaked into the dense forest. Ah Wu, the dissatisfied voice of the mastiff came. At the same time, the furry body also rushed towards Shen Qing. He waited until he reached his feet and then rubbed Shen Qing's trouser legs with his thick hair. In the wanted section of Area 65, the appearance of the mastiff and its appearance after transforming into the Beast King were mentioned. Under normal circumstances, Shen Qing can also help the mastiff to create a hidden appearance and enter the first area together. But mastiff is a mutant zombie Beast King and has too many unstable factors. If there is a sudden transformation in the dungeon in Area 1, Shen Qing and the others may not be able to hide their identities. So, finally, it was settled in a dense forest not far outside the city. Tiantian watched the scene and couldn't help but smacked her lips. You are the only zombie I have ever seen that makes the alien zombie Beast King so clingy. Shen Qing smiled and said nothing. Tiantian continued. The female zombie you were staring at the stairway of life was your little girlfriend. Shen Qing smiled awkwardly and shook her head. She is still a child, and she has a very good relationship with my parents. When I awakened my primary bloodline, she promised me that when she grows up, she will take me out of the dungeon and find my parents. Hear the words. Tiantian's expression changed slightly. It seems that he has developed some affection for that Tang Ling. Okay, you want to go out, and the other purpose is to see how she is doing, right? I'll take you around and introduce you to a zombie. On the way, Shen Qing finally asked the biggest doubt in her heart. Do you have a high status in District 1? Why do so many zombies seem to know you? Tiantian smiled bitterly and nodded. It's okay. But District 1 is not suitable for me. To be precise, all zombie armies are not suitable for me. That's why I joined. The words suddenly stopped here. Tiantian looked at Shen Qing complicatedly and asked, Are you trying to find out what I'm saying? Shen Qing waved her hands hurriedly. I didn't ask if you were okay at all, you answered it yourself. Tiantian. Okay, you remember it anyway. The zombie army is never as simple as it seems. If you hate the zombie army one day, you might consider joining us. Shen Qing did not answer the question directly, but continued to ask, Then you join the organization, doesn't the District 1 zombie army know? Tiantian. They definitely don't know, because my main task in Area 1 is exploration. Exploring the overall situation of the undeveloped area, so as long as I bring back enough useful information, no one will doubt what I was doing after being away for so long. This is the first time Shen Qing understands Tiantian. Many of the confusions I had about her before were gradually made clear at this moment. The two zombies were joking and serious along the way, and kept talking about various topics. Shen Qing is curious about Tiantian and Mio's organization, as well as clues about his parents. Tiantian is curious about Shen Qing's views on Mio. During this period, Shen Qing even learned something that shocked him. That is, Tiantian looks underage, but in fact, she is already 100 years old. A complete immortal witch, walked for nearly an hour. When Shen Qing and the others arrived at the outermost edge of the jungle, Tiantian stopped in the distance. And he raised his chin towards the outside. No, your little girlfriend is over there. Shen Qing followed and looked. At a glance, I saw a city full of technology. The city is not big, only about half of District 65. But on the city wall, there were all kinds of weapons that Shen Qing had never seen before. Only, those weapons are now useless. Tiantian, small executor camp. There are about 20 junior executors inside, and 5 middle-level executors. This is within the developed area of Area 1, and the enforcer camps are also within the controllable range of the zombie army in Area 1. Normally, these small enforcer camps are used by the zombie army to increase their awakening value. Of course, sometimes, because genius zombies appear in several areas, special training will be started. Shen Qing stared blankly from a distance. This was his first time seeing an executor camp. I originally thought that the enforcer camp was a scene-like a fence with many enforcers inside. Unexpectedly, the executor camp turned out to be a city. A city that is heavily guarded and bursting with technology. Boom boom, far away. From time to time, there were sounds of fighting in the city, and Shen Qing frowned slightly. Tiantian waved her hands indifferently and said, "Don't worry, the little emperor says he won't care about them. Actually, if you were really in danger, let alone the executor, even the middle-level fissioner will not be able to withstand a few moves in his hands." Shen Qing was doubly surprised. So strong. Tiantian laughed. Doesn't it look different? Shen Qing nodded and Tiantian continued. However, don't be deceived by his appearance. Because that guy Murong Tian is the deputy commander of the zombie army in District 1. The guy who is truly second only to Long Qianyang. Hiss, Shen Qing gasped and looked towards the enforcer camp in surprise. The male zombie who was sweetly talked about is actually the deputy commander of District 1 after Long Qianyang. Closing square bracket. Tiantian waved her hand and walked towards the small enforcer camp. Let's go. Go and have a look. After finishing speaking, she looked behind her again, squatted down and rubbed the mastiff's head. Xiao Shu, go, be obedient here. Just leave your master's safety to me. The mastiff seemed to understand. He stuck out his tongue and whined, then lay down on the spot. See this scene, Shen Qing. I'm afraid this is the first zombie that mastiff is not hostile to besides me, right? Closing square bracket. It seems that Tiantian's strength is far higher than I expected. Closing square bracket. At the same time, inside the small enforcer camp. Not bad, not bad. Murong Tian nodded towards Tang Ling with great satisfaction. His words of praise seemed to be free of charge. Tang Ling, your strength is no problem against middle-level executors. The only shortcoming is that your fighting style is not strong enough. Of course, you are still young, and the time for awakening your bloodline is still short. Your lack of combat experience is not a flaw. If you make up for it more in the future, I believe you will soon be able to leave these losers far behind. A group of young zombies. They are also geniuses in the zombie army in their respective districts. But according to Murong Tian, how could they become useless? But should I say it, that Tang Ling is really strong, and he doesn't feel like the same kind of zombies as us. Said a male zombie who had just finished killing the junior executor together. The other male zombie who was cooperating with him nodded in approval, who says it's not the case. The combat power far exceeds ours, and we can deal with the middle-level executors on our own. Even if it seems a bit strenuous, you are destined to face it yourself. Alas, after what Coach Murong said, I sometimes feel like, am I really a waste? Feel the same. The two zombies talked to each other. Murong Tian naturally noticed them. I saw. The expression that was smiling at Tang Ling 1 second changed instantly the next second. You guys, what nonsense are you talking about? There are still many executors, hurry up and fight. However, just when Morong Tien's voice fell, another voice came from behind, but his face suddenly became wonderful. Oh, I'll go. That's right, my little emperor is so busy today. Morong Tien was surprised and said, Tiantian. No longer paying attention to the two young male zombies, Morong Tien quickly came towards them. Why are you here? I thought that after you came back, you would just be bored in the underground city every day like before. With that said, Morong Tien glanced at Shen Qing and nodded as a greeting. But Shen Qing clearly felt disdain from the other party's eyes. After all, primary bloodline zombie. Do you want an apex-level bloodline zombie who is also the deputy commander of the first zone zombie army to deal with you? Stop it, you don't deserve it. Tiantian raised her chin in the direction of Shen Qing. Nuo, I'll take this kid out to practice. I tell you, little emperor, don't underestimate this guy. This Bai Feng is even more talented than that female genius of yours. Hear the words. Morong Tien was a little suspicious and looked at Shen Qing again. But looking at it, these guys seem to be junior bloodline zombies, right? Morong Tien laughed awkwardly. My vision is not as sharp as yours. I really don't see what genius he has. Tiantian smiled, patted Shen Qing's back with one hand, and said carelessly, Bai Feng. Go and hammer a middle-level executor to death for our commander Morong. Shen Qing, what is Tiantian doing? Let me fight. Doesn't this mean that the identity is directly exposed? Closing square bracket. However, Tiantian still looked indifferent, pointing at an executor not far away and said, What are you looking at me doing? Look at the executor. Hurry up and let me show off. Morong Tien seemed to notice Shen Qing's difficulty in seeing, and immediately waved to Tiantian with a smile. Okay, I believe you, can't you? It's hard for this little guy. In my opinion, this is Bai Feng, right? He shouldn't be too old. Can he awaken his bloodline for a year or two? It's really difficult for him to let a junior bloodline zombie deal with a middle-level executor. Tiantian ignored Morong Tien, but stared straight at Shen Qing with her beautiful eyes. Then, his originally calm eyes narrowed little by little, and his brows wrinkled little by little. Shen Qing knows. This guy is going crazy. With a gulp, he swallowed. Shen Qing also gave up. Love it or hate it. I don't believe it. My identity has been exposed, and you can still feel comfortable. Closing square bracket. Shen Qing was heartbroken, and regardless of whether his identity would be exposed, he rushed directly towards the sweet-fingered middle-level executor. At the same time, extreme body strengthening strength amplification. Extreme body strengthening and speed increase. Extreme body strengthening and bone amplification. It doesn't take much. 3 increments are enough. Abnormal rage 75% increase. The gray pupils turned scarlet little by little. Shen Qing's speed suddenly increased, and his entire body turned into a stream of light in an instant. When Morong Tien came to his senses, he only heard a bang. Let those so-called middle-level executors who are afraid to face the geniuses of all major regions. One punch. It was knocked down directly. At the same time. Boom boom boom. One after another, fists were stamped on the core weapon of the middle-level executor without stopping. Then another click was heard. The core weapon shattered, Shen Qing's fist gathered strength, and the speed increased again. A punch penetrated into the core weapon of the middle-level executor. A soft drink. Under the core weapon, the energy core used to transmit energy to middle-level executors was directly pulled out by Shen Qing. From the beginning of the battle to the end of the battle. It should take no more than 1 minute. Quiet. Anomaly quiet all around. Those young zombies who thought they were geniuses all had their mouths opened in surprise. He pointed in the direction of Shen Qing and wanted to say something, but he kept mumbling for a long time, but not even a single note came out. Tang Ling watched this scene silently, with a hint of brilliance in his eyes. This zombie is so strong. Closing square bracket. And the bloodline characteristics he uses are the same as mine, they are all strengthened. Closing square bracket. I'm afraid, his bloodline level is by no means a primary bloodline. Closing square bracket. The other side. Seeing Shen Qing neatly deal with the middle-level executor, Tiantian patted Morong Tien on the shoulder in a very pretentious manner. He pretended to sigh. Alas! Little Emperor, you look at me, forget it, I don't like fighting zombies. Murong Tien, how on earth do you say you don't like blows? You've beaten me up, okay. Closing square bracket. While complaining in his heart, Murong Tien was more shocked. He didn't expect that this seemingly ordinary zombie, even just a junior bloodline, could actually explode with such strange strength. At the same time, he also guessed Shen Qing's identity. Just listening, Murong Tien suddenly realized, second bloodline level, second bloodline characteristics. Tiantian, haha, you're not that stupid. Murong Tien took a breath of air and ignored Tiantian this time. Instead, he walked up to Shen Qing in person and stared at him very seriously. Your name is Bai Feng, right? Shen Qing nodded. Yes. Murong Tien, the second bloodline level is apex level. Shen Qing glanced at Tiantian hesitantly. Murong Tien waved his hand. Ignore her, you just need to tell the truth. Shen Qing hesitated for a while and finally nodded. After receiving this result, Murong Tien smiled heartily and asked, strengthening the whole body. Shen Qing. Yeah, good, well done. Murong Tien suddenly appreciated it, but at the same time he did not stop asking, can you tell me, how long has it been since you awakened your bloodline? Shen Qing. Less than 2 months. Hiss. This gasp came not only from Murong Tien, but also from those useless geniuses. Of course, there was also Tang Ling who was watching this scene. It's been less than 2 months since I awakened my bloodline. In other words, is he the same age as me? Closing square bracket. Then, why he can deal with the middle-level executors so easily is not because of his bloodline awakening value. Tang Ling didn't dare to think about it anymore because he suddenly felt it. The strength and talent that I was proud of were nothing compared to this male zombie. This made a figure subconsciously appear in his mind. That's one. Zombies wearing zombie army combat uniforms. In the picture, the zombie is standing on the back of Beast King, a mutant zombie nearly 10 meters in size. At the same time, the blood-red moon on the back of the battle suit was so dazzling. In terms of strength and talent, he seems to be similar to Qing. Closing square bracket. Murong Tien was already smiling from ear to ear at this time. I thought that when I met Tang Ling, it was because of his luck that Murong Tien met the genius among geniuses. Nowadays, here comes another apex-level bloodline and body enhancement. Moreover, it is obvious that Bai Feng's bloodline awakening value is definitely higher than that of Tang Ling. But just to be sure, Murong Tien still asked, Bai Feng, what is your bloodline awakening value? Shen Qing. Only 31%. Murong Tien rarely cursed. But today, he really couldn't bear it anymore. Just 31%. Man, can you think about other zombie feelings? You have only just awakened for less than a month. When others are worrying about how you can reach 15%, you are already at 31%. That's it, you still only get 31%. Listen, is this zombie talk? Murong Tien's eyes twitched. At this moment, he suddenly realized that Tang Ling was no longer fragrant. The Bai Feng in front of him almost confused him. However, Murong Tien was about to speak, but Tiantian blocked his mouth first. Just listen and smile sweetly. I say, little emperor, please stop dreaming. This boy is mine, you can't take it away, just train your female genius well. Murong Tien, I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.